You guys want to get some coffee or something?
Can I get a cup of coffee? Black? Can't you see we talking? White?
Even little kids in Mexico drink coffee.
Well, I'm not a little kid in Mexico, okay?
That is the best coffee I've ever tasted.
A damn fine cup of coffee.
You want a cup of coffee?
No coffee.
Coffee drinker, huh?
Maybe we could grab some coffee?
Coffee, 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 coffee.
How you doing, fellas? That's not decaf, is it?
Viennese cinnamon.
Worst Wednesday ever. Good morning. I actually look like the comic book guy now, with my hair pulled back. Welcome to the show at Last Lounge My Coffee. It's fucking Wednesday. I'm not in a bad mood. I'm not. Don't misunderstand. But when you wake up hurting worse than when you went to bed, it's not going to be a good day. I just told Don Eckert, because I don't think Don's coming on today. He's got some stuff going on. I love him. I love him so much, man. But there's no plan for the show this week. And if he said, if I come on, I'm just going to rant about politics, I said, fuck it. It's my channel. You do whatever the fuck you want, Don. Whenever you want to come on, you come on my show. If you want to bitch about Biden, if you want to bitch about the feds, if you want to bitch about your coffee, you're welcome. But my coffee is delicious this morning. I actually mixed it last night, and but I got to put something on top of it every night. I put a big plastic board on top of it because I don't trust the 12 cats that live here not to get into my fucking coffee. Because Jesus Christ, I swear to God, man, why would cats want bread, right? Yeah, it's not meaty. There's nothing catnippy about bread. It's a very bland thing to cats. Cats are like, fuck that. Dogs, yeah, dogs want it. Oh my God, bread. Oh, I want bread. You know, that's a dog. Cats are like, doesn't smell like anything that got killed. No, I don't want it. But I come in one day and cats tore up my fucking loaf. Like, what the fuck? And I looked at it and there were little tiny claw marks, not the big adult cats. So I know it was one of the kittens. Just fucking ripped the shit out of it. And I'm like, so I gotta stow that shit away. And I put stuff on top of here because, look, I know that there's always going to be a chance of finding a cat hair in my coffee. I did yesterday. 3 fucking cat hairs yesterday while I was doing the show. And, but I don't know, man. I'm still out of it. I've got my hair pulled back like this just for one person. Her name is Anima Confusa because she likes when I pull my hair back and I'm not wearing a hat hiding behind the bill of my hat. So, yeah, there you go. There's weirder things than bread. Loki goes crazy over melons. Are you saying your tits or are you saying like actual like gourds? Even though that also makes me think of tits. I'm sorry. I'm always thinking about tits. Good morning, Dr. Dragon. First person. Yep, Dr. Dragon got first post. Marshall, good morning, Boyan. How are you today, my friend? And I sent a link to you if you guys want to join me. Poor John is stuck here going, what the fuck is Gerry ranting about now? Das Wolfen was in the chat, but he's on the show now. And it's too late. He already touched my monkey. Monkey Jibus, thank you. Come again. D. Bud Martin, good morning, my friend. War Monkey, hey, 2 of my fucking favorite monkeys already here. God damn, it's going to be a good morning. Fuck my pain. Good morning, Anima Confusa. Latest UFO news is that the Decepticons aren't negotiating our moon trip in good faith, so we have to keep pushing the Artemis 1 test back. Well, what I heard the fuck is that? Why am I talking like that? The next window was on Friday. Have we heard a new launch date? I have not heard the new launch date yet. I should go to the the YouTube channel, check it out. Let me get through these real quick. Penny, good morning, Penny. How are you? Invitations going out to your son too, but I don't expect to see him today. It was nice to see him yesterday.
New launch date Saturday.
What?
New launch date is Saturday.
Launch date is Saturday, so it's the 3rd. Okay. Cantaloupe, Gary, mind out of the gutter. Jeez. Why are thinking about boobs is not in the gutter? That is not gutter thinking. Boobs are beautiful. They're gorgeous. They're the most God-transcending orbs known to man. Even women love them. There's something so beautiful about breasts. They really are. Cameron Vale, good morning. I don't know. Lauren was talking behind me. I heard something about boobs. Good morning, Real Wade Nation, my friend. How are you? The jack of all casuals. Good morning. It's nice to see you. I hardly ever see you, Jack. I see you in other people's shows. Hey, Toxic Tuesday was great last night. What a fucking show. It was so much fun that Tom, Nick, and Mark D with a C, we hung out for like another hour and a half. Really, one of the reasons I stayed up late is because of those fuckers. We were just so having a great chat about, all the drama in YouTube that we aren't allowed to talk about publicly, the relationships, all that stuff. People who are assholes behind the scenes, because I don't tell you guys who I don't like, and there are like very few people in the YouTube universe that I fucking despise, and I don't like them. I really don't, for really good reasons, but I will never fucking say it with you guys because I think it's inappropriate to talk about that shit publicly. I think it's unprofessional. And I hate it when I see other YouTubers pull that shit, where they fucking feed into that drama of shit going on behind the scenes with YouTube shows. It's like, don't do that. That's high school, man. That's really is high school shit. I mean, am I wrong, John?
No, you're right.
It's
not.
Okay, have a good day. I hope your feet don't hurt. She's having such a rough time with her feet. She's got this. It's like tumors, nerve tumors on the bottom of her feet right now. And it's gotten so bad that she was worried that she wouldn't be able to drive today. And but she's going out there. They've got to do an injection in her feet, but the problem is the procedure is super painful, was what she was told. But what she wasn't told is that actually a local anesthetic will take away that pain. And the injections aren't bad at all. So she's contemplating this because it's cortisone injections into the bottom of her feet. So God love her, man. She's having a rough time with her feet. Like when I start to bitch and then she starts talking about what's going on with her, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to shut up now. Because I've got nothing on that. I'm just getting old. I will when she gets back. I will. Good morning, Six, you fucking bitch.
Damn.
I swear to God, her and Kyle, man, they know the buttons to push with me. And I've already got it set up this morning. Here's what I learned when it comes to comedy. Fucking let your ego go, man. Fucking let your ego go and enjoy the fun. I did a video yesterday, but I wasn't making a video. What I was doing was Fat Steven Seagal had explained to me how to get rid of porn bots. And I still don't quite understand how to do it. Oh, we lost Martin. And so I followed the video tutorial. I was watching the video tutorial while doing what I was doing. It said you need to start a live stream and you got to go into your chat settings right as you're going into live. Okay. So, and it says, make sure to select that you are in private mode. So I selected private before I went live. And so I God, fuck you guys. I swear to God. I swear to fucking God. Six and Kyle are, I swear to God, they're like fucking predators. They're like stalking and watching every little fuck up I make. And I go do some stuff and I come back and I found out that when I went in there to learn how to do this, it took me 41 seconds to figure out what they're telling me to do. And I'm like, well, this is complicated and it's going to be something I'm not able to do, during a show because I stream through StreamYard and it won't let me do that, go into the settings. And so I had missed lunch and I was chowing down when I apparently made this video and made it public, not private. And well, who do you think fucking immediately saw it and fucking went to town on it is Six and fucking Zach's Kyle. And they're fucking posting it all over the place going, you got to watch this video with Gerry. It's so enlightening. So here it is. Here it is. Fuck you guys. I'm owning this shit. Boom. Here we go. This is the video. There you go. That was the cat fucking with me. I'm like, get off me. Just going to town on these potato chips. Oh my God. I was so hungry. Oh, I fucking hate you, guys, Six. And Kyle, Ned, I love you. I love you so much. You guys are so awesome. Yes, that was so fucking worth it, wasn't it, guys?
I love that video. I give it a like.
Now, I did not make it. It's not public. It's unlisted. But if you tag it and post it, you can go see it. I don't want it on our videos. It's unprofessional if I did that. It would be very unprofessional for me to post that as a public video on our stream. But it was at one point, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, man. When you click something, this is the thing I hate about YouTube. And I'm assuming this is what happened, is I clicked private, but there was probably another thing I had to click to confirm that private and didn't see it because I was going really quickly. So it went live.
You should convert it into a short and get it out there that way, and you'll get lots of people click that stuff and join the channel.
Jesus Christ, I don't fucking want that.
There's a whole segment of people that are into eating
to
videos.
Know what they're going to get from this channel, not just watching me eat fucking food. Like gorging. I was gorging on those chips, man. It wasn't like I didn't have like one or two in my hand. I had a fucking handful, and I've got a big mouth. So just so you know, when I was in the Army, someone made a joke and said, I bet you could fit a softball in there. And we tried. It didn't fit, but I was able to fit a baseball in my mouth. I could fit a baseball, and I'm like, Jesus, I really do have a mouth that, because I have a double hinge on my. It's really weird. You can actually see something really odd here. I'm going to take my glasses off so you can see this. I'm going to cover my mouth, and now watch my temples.
Wow.
My mouth opens wider than it's really designed to do, and it pushes the muscle out in my temple. It makes my temple look like it's pumping. Gary's bloopers sound like a good playlist. Gerry, you said you wanted to do shorts. Yeah, but not like that.
Dude, Could have been worse. Do you remember DSP?
Do I remember what?
DSP,
No, I don't. What is it?
Dark Side Phil, and his infamous. The can was open. Well,
Oh, you brought
no,
something up. I don't know.
no, I won't spoil it for you. You have to look for that.
No, look, I will never look up videos again after someone says, "Oh, 2 girls in a cup." You gotta see that. Why? What are they doing with the cup, dude? You've got to see it. It's something that you. And I'm like this. I'm like, oh yeah. Hey, what? I stopped it right at that one point, and I'm like, that can't be real poop. There's no fucking way a human being would do that. Well, I fucking hate that video. Gerry is they confirmed, yeah, I can unhinge and eat like anything. No, but that's really it. And I was just fucking jamming those chips in while I'm reading. And once I saw what they wanted us to do, Buenos Nachos, checking in real quick before I got to be somewhere at 9. I'm going to guess that's Scott. I mean, yeah, that's Scott. Not Chris, his brother. That's Scott. That is, I don't think that is Stephanie. Stephanie actually comes to YouTube. Good morning, La Adelita. How are you? Yes, thank you. You guys go fuck yourselves. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just mentioning that video made me queasy there.
Yeah. Oh, 2 cups. 2 girls in a cup. Yeah.
Well,
oh, 2
Marshall,
cups and a girl. There's a
Marshall, that's the correct origin and destination.
And of course, if I did a
clear.
video 2 cups and a girl, it would be 2 D cups and a girl, or 2 C cups. I prefer C cups. I'm a C cup kind of guy.
I prefer higher letters of the alphabet, like
it's Marcus.
H,
Marcus. Hey, man, you've never commented over there on Facebook before. Okay. Yes, but I still annoy you because I say Guten Morgen like an American. Guten Morgen. Wollen gehen Sie? Wie geht's? Machen Sie die Tür auf, bitte. I annoy her when I speak German with my American accent instead of speaking it like a German. It's one of the few things I know annoys her, so you know I'm going to do it. Hey, there are 2 Martins in here. Look at this. Which one's the real one and which one's the doppelganger? Yeah, see, look, see? Shut up, Gerry. I love the way she says my name. It's fucking, I don't know. Something so gorgeous when she says my name. I like it. Let's see. Gerry, what did I tell you about the Germans yesterday? Well, they're the ones who invented the Scheisse film. 2 girls in a cup started from Germany. Yeah.
Not a proud moment for my people.
Yeah. And you know, my feelings on Germans so much that, because I'm like 88% Celtic, 12% adopted Celtic. And what that means is one fucking kraut fucked his way into my family and I got stuck with his last name. And I met, by the way, my family, the Kaisers, on the German side of the French Alsace-Lorraine mountains, the Alsace-Lorraine. On the German side, it's Kaisel, and the French side, it's pronounced Giselle, or Geisel. Theodore Geisel, Dr. Seuss, same last name as mine. But his name is spelled the original spelling. You come over to America and you get uneducated motherfuckers working in immigration. What's your name? And then they trying to find the most phonetic way of spelling that name. That's how we got our American versions of Cassell and Kissel. Cassell has 2 L's. Kissel has 1 L. Is Marshall that needy today? Oh, everybody's needy sometimes. Marshall just needs a hug. You got it. That's right, La Adelita. Monkajiba says, son of a bitch. He's Indian now. I'm going to start working again. I'll work till roommate isn't paying attention and quit. Private chat. Oh, yep. Double checking. Good stuff. Thank you, Martin.
Yeah.
So I haven't even started the show yet officially. It's like, this is just the bullshit session where I sit down and say good morning, talk about stuff. John.
Yes.
Did you wake up as in foul mood as I did today?
Oh, no, I'm fine.
Fuck you. I woke up and I don't understand the logic of this. Waking up hurting worse than when you went to bed. I don't understand that. So I wake up and I feel like Mike Tyson has worked my spine over. I just hurt so bad this morning. I downed my ibuprofen, 800 milligrams, hoping that'll take the edge off, and still not quite done it yet. It's getting there, though. I can feel it slowly, gradually becoming less like somebody beat the shit out of me and more like I got rolled over by a bulldozer.
Well,
King Fortel, good morning.
There's a reason why I take my tramadol and my gabapentin as soon as I wake up.
I don't. Well, I have. Hold on, let me check to see what this thing is. I have gabapentin. I do have that. And you know what? I'm probably going to start taking this shit again because it didn't seem like it was helping me before. But I'm going to try it again, see what happens. Gabapentin. Yep. But I don't have Travador or whatever the hell that is.
Tramadol.
What is that? Tramadol. What the fuck is that?
It's an opiate. Oxy. It's
Oxy. Oh,
it's not like Oxy. It's not like Oxy. It's a lower end. It's not as powerful.
Addictive, powerful.
Yeah, and
blah,
it doesn't.
blah, blah.
Yeah.
Good morning, Orville Nation. How are you doing, my friend? Man, it seems like forever since I've seen you. Let's see. What is this? I just saw something. What did I see? I missed something. Yes, and I got to tell you, the other night, Gerry Beekler was on with 70s Rock Fan, and I was having all kinds of trouble with internet because the storm was coming through. I mean, it kicked the shit out. So I don't know about you in Springfield. Well, you're up north.
Yeah, I'm
right?
in Sedalia.
Yeah, you're in Sedalia. That storm hit you like it hit us. All it said was like, I checked the national weather. It said, oh, you're going to get some rain today. You got a 90% chance of rain. Showed no lightning. Man, what a storm. It knocked the power out several times. Our internet was ganked. It was just fucking ridiculous. But anyway, I'm in the middle, and fucking Gerry Beekler is going off right when I'm coming on. I said, hey, fuck, man, I just got here. Oh, okay. Well, one Gerry leaves, another Gerry takes his place. It's the other white meat. It's cool. And gotta laugh. And because I haven't been on with Gerry Beekler in like forever. Man, it's been like 2 years since I was on with him. It was back when we were first starting. And I like Gerry, man. I like Gerry. I like, Doomcock. I keep being told that I need to do Sunday show with Doomcock, but haven't gotten that invitation yet. It's just not showing up. I did talk with Tom last night about doing our show together, Tom and Gerry. And we just haven't made it. We're talking about a show that's probably not going to start for 3 months from now. There's a lot of planning because he and I are busy. And he's with YouTube stuff, he's busier than me because that's his day job, really, is doing the stuff for them. He's an employee of Midnight Set, whereas Andre's the owner. And so Andre keeps him fucking busy. And when you see him actually doing something for a break, it's Mead Radio, which I fucking love. I'll put it on at night and I'll just play it at night and just chill. And, but good grief, man. We want to do a show together. We're really good friends. People don't realize how good of friends Tom and I are. And we're very chummy. The problem I find with Tom is I have a tendency of shutting up when he gets on a roll. Because I, as a guy, I've actually came up doing comedy. You learn, don't step on other people's comedy. and I see, I start catching what he's doing, and then I immediately shut down because I want him to get through whatever it is he's trying to build to. I don't know if that's a good way to do the show. So he and I were talking about that. It's like, I'm going to have to be ready to banter with you, like Keith and I do. And so it's something, and he talked about that. He says, I like it when you shut the fuck up, Gerry. I really do. That's Tom. I love Tom.
I know how Tom feels.
Shut up. And what's really funny, like in real life, I really don't talk very much. I'm very quiet. It's here where I talk because I know I'm supposed to. I'm supposed to do it. I'm supposed to talk. So it is. I like it when we have our private chats. I'll talk there. But when I'm just around the house, man, I'm quiet. I keep to myself and I do my artwork. I don't think I really talk over anybody. I will stop people before they say something stupid or annoying. But when I get complimented all the time on the fact that I will shut up when somebody needs to say something. Yeah, that comment. He's just making a dig at me. It's okay. You guys can throw digs at me all you want to. I know how I actually operate. And anyway, I'm going to get to the news, and we have some stuff really. It's like there's always some new UFO or UAP news that's going on. And I noticed these popped up. Let me share my screen real quick. I'll go to the first one. And of course, this one is Chad Pergram over at Fox News. UFOs have landed in Congress where legislation addressing them will be considered. Lawmakers want to know exactly what threat unidentified aerial phenomena may pose. There's no way to fucking know. I mean, this is the kind of questions that just sort of like, how can you gauge the unknown? It's unknown. What we do know is they come and leave at their leisure. They don't give really two rat's asses about us. People think that they have not interacted with us in a negative way, but that's not true. They have destroyed vehicles. They've killed people, sometimes accidentally. This is what Don and I were talking about with the Travis Walton case. The Travis Walton case, if you really pay attention to what happened, and they kind of do show it in the film, the initial blast that he got hit with killed him. And he was revived on the ship. That's why they took him, is because they had accidentally killed him. And then they saved him. The movie tries to make it look like it's something else going on, like it was an intentional abduction. It was not. And when you listen to Travis talk, you really get the feeling that he knew that they had saved his life and that he was there. It was like going to the hospital, but it was in a UFO. So I don't think that species has malice towards us. But, we've had fighters shot down. And this is just interesting. Masked in turgid language, deep inside next year's Senate Intelligence Authorization Bill lies the following sentence: cross-domain transmedium threats to United States national security expanding exponentially. You may shrug, yeah. But let me run this through the universal translator for the moment, like the one they use in Star Trek. What if I decoded that sentence to tell you that lawmakers are petrified about growing threats to the U.S. from UFOs? Now, do I have your attention? Well, they've been a threat. I mean, apparently it was not twice. It was once. It was 3 times they went over D.C. back in 1952, that incident. I was unaware of that. So they've been a threat for a long time. So worrying about it now is just kind of funny. For the first time in history, Congress is recognizing that unidentified aerial phenomena, or UAPs, as they are now called, No, it's not now called. They're differentiating. It's unidentified aerial phenomena until it becomes determined that it's an actual object. Then it becomes an unidentified flying object. It's just a distinction. And if Congress approves the intelligence bill, lawmakers will mandate the creation of a special government office to determine what's terrestrial and what's extraterrestrial. The truth may be out there, but you can't find it without first filleting the otherworldly legislative bill text. That's funny. I don't know. Is there a video that goes with this? I don't see one. I would like to watch.
Well, there was the Tic Tac video up at the top.
Yeah, they had this one. The Tic Tac. Let's see. How long is this? 2 minutes and 6 seconds. Don't open over there. I'll open here. Let's see.
It's Tuesday.
Oh,
and you know
Jesus. Never mind. Fucking commercials. So, I don't know. This is, he's going into something here and really not really saying anything about it. And once again, it's not, it's a UAP. You can call it a UAP, or you can just call it a UFO. No, they're differentiating. A UFO is once it's been identified as a solid object. Area phenomena isn't always a solid object. And we don't, they talked about that a little bit on Skinwalker Ranch and kind of show what that means. And they would identify things they're seeing in the sky as UAPs until they see solid shape.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there you got it. I'm going to skip that story, move on to another one. Let's see.
Well, UFOs are really interested in our nuclear.
Well, it's when we became nuclear that they
Yeah.
ramped up their interest in us. They're like, what are these creatures up to?
More like we better keep an eye on them until they get out here.
Yeah. So this is globenewsinsider.com. And for some reason, Google News picked up this story. And it came out today, or yesterday. Just before the long-awaited June release, Department of Defense report on unidentified aerial phenomena, UAP, I sat down and tried to make a list of the biggest hurdles to UAP scientific analysis. What I came up with is a side-by-side comparison of the 5 key challenges described here with some statements made in the published government report. Although only 9 pages long, the report has proven to be thorough and careful and scientifically accurate in that it perfectly expresses how little certainty can be drawn from the data. Yeah, you would think that after 75 years of this shit, that because we were getting reports of this shit in World War II, Foo Fighters, shit like that. They talked about gremlins on planes, and they weren't joking. That, like, what was all that? And so we were getting reports back in World War II, and then of course after the atomic bomb, their interest in continental U.S. intensified, and we saw that after 1947 with the incident before Kenneth Arnold. I forget the name of it, and then Kenneth Arnold with what he saw on Mount Rainier, and it just has gotten more and more ever since. And people act like the Betty and Barney Hill is the first ever alien abduction. No, we've heard stuff before. It's the first publicized alien abduction. And on that one, that seemed to be intentional. And as Don's explained, that there are like different versions of these things that are in our atmosphere and underground, and until everybody comes forward with absolute transparency, knowing what we're dealing with is going to be impossible to determine. And I don't see where Congress can really get anywhere as long as there's not transparency. And we need to know what was real and what wasn't real. Bob Lazar, we need to know. We need to hear confirmation from them that what he was talking about was true. We know it's true. I absolutely believe him. He was too on the mark about things, and things that they denied that later they finally fessed up on.
Yeah.
So, but let's get back into this. Although only 9 pages long, the report has proven to be thorough, careful, and scientifically accurate, and that it perfectly expresses how little certainty can be drawn from the data. As the saying goes, the more things change, the more they stay the same. Amen. Challenge number 1. All UAP UFO incidents are irreproducible. Wow, I've never seen that word.
I haven't either.
Reproducible.
It should be unreproducible.
Unreproducible.
Yeah, just say unreproducible with a hyphen, and that's a weird word, and pronouncing it just feels weird. You can't go back and run the exact observation experiment again. It's sort of like with the paranormal, because when dealing with paranormal activity, you can run, the rigidity of the scientific method is run the trial, and if you get a different outcome from the same activity, then, well, the thing is you can't get the same activity. It's hard to get the exact same activity. So therefore, the scientific method itself fails in how to reproduce stuff with the paranormal. And now you're dealing with an intelligence, for sure. Dealing with an intelligence, of course, they're not going to do the same thing again. But what they're doing on Skinwalker Ranch, if you guys have kept up on it, they are getting reproducible reactions. You know what I'm talking about, John?
Yep.
Every time they do a specific thing, which is shoot a rocket into the air or lay into a signal, they get a reaction every single time.
Yep.
So that's reproducible activity. And they're already doing it on Skinwalker Ranch. You're telling me other scientists haven't figured out how to do this? What you do is you find out how to push buttons. Yeah, dude, I enjoyed the shit out of Nope. That's a great ending.
I haven't watched it yet.
And there's this middle story, and I don't want to give away what's going on. That whole chimpanzee thing, it's really not there to push the story forward. That's the problem with the chimpanzee thing. It's not there to do that. It's to explain a character. And I don't want to say who the character is or what it is trying to explain. But it is there as a device. It's not part of the story. It's a device within the story to explain the actions of a certain character, why he's doing things the way he's doing them. And basically the folly of his arrogance. And I thought that character was interesting, and what happens to him is justifiable. So once again, observation experiment again, repeat. For science in general, this kind of thing is a big headache, lack of reproducibility. See, that's a better word right there. Or replication. You know what? Now you're just showing off, like saying the same word. It's redundant. Poses enormous challenges to interpreting data, especially when those data are noisy and incompetent. How about when the data is noisy and incomplete? To fill an obvious gap, to rule out or support a hypothesis, as the Pentagon report puts it, most UAPs cannot be explained due to limited data. So limited, anecdotal, and non-repetitive words are, it's funny, he's using repetitive words and then saying it. That's like irony within irony. You hardly want to use, but it applies here. What he's talking about, just in simple terms, that could have been just summed up, the scientific method doesn't work because you have incomplete data. So you can't build your hypothesis. That's what you're supposed to do when you're doing the scientific method, is you figure out what your hypothesis is, and then you start working on the hypothesis to prove it as a scientific fact and or theory. Hypothesis, theory, fact. And there are very few scientific facts. We know that. But even with the facts, astrophysicists say all the time, that even that fact may be produced to be wrong later. The more we understand about reality, the more we tear apart the things that we thought we knew. So challenge number 2, there's nothing systematic about how incidents are recorded or reported. That's right. Different camera systems, radar systems, data processing, observers, and environmental conditions mean that each incident is effectively an uncontrolled experiment with little way to check the actual quality and sensitivity of the data. I mean, yeah, once again, it's the same situation. This is just an echo of the same thing. And again, the Pentagon report effectively makes the same point. Additionally, the report suggests a potentially useful task of, quote, constantly consolidating reports from across the federal government, standardizing reports, increasing collection analysis, and streamlining the screening process. They're just, that word right there, streamlining. They're just trying to create a faster, more functional way of doing it. This is very important. The report is very specific about the unsuitability of typical military sensor equipment for this type of analysis. As a result, those sensors are generally not suitable for UAP identification. Well, some of it is because they have FLIR. They're capable of reading different forms of thermal. And what we're finding on almost everything that we're seeing from them is cold areas, where there shouldn't be cold areas. The way we understand science and physics of how to propel oneself, there should be heat, but we're picking up cold. And then occasionally we'll pick up this odd heat signature from something like that one in, was it Venezuela, I think? I think it was the Venezuelan Air Force picked it up at where you see this object in the air and there's a heat trail behind it. It's letting off something.
Yeah.
And it's such an odd video because every single scientist that's looked at that is like, no known vehicle does that on Earth. Nothing known does what that thing was doing. What the fuck was it? Because like when you first see it, it almost looks like a Chinook. It almost looked like a Chinook, but then you realize, oh, we're looking at a different angle. Oh, that's fucking weird. And that became more of a UFO and less of an UAP because what it was doing was a phenomena, but itself was a solid object. So anyway, number 3, there is no easy way to explain cherry picking data. I don't know how often pilots or other observers see something they don't expect, but a minute later they realize, or at least they're convinced they do, what they're seeing, and as a result, nothing is reported. There may be thousands of such incidents or very few. I don't know, but these mundane cases may actually represent all cases. Yeah, I mean, he's sort of making a mountain out of a molehill. But yeah, the report discusses the stigma. See there, that's different than what's being said here. Stigma is when people don't report things because they don't want to be stigmatized.
Yeah, get made fun of, or
worse, fired, demoted. So there's a fear that's different than what he said up here. He's talking about cherry picking data, and this is more of what is really going on a lot of times in commercial airlines, because several airlines actually had a thing. They would fucking fire you. You report something. It's like, no, I do not have anything to report. You'll hear that so often with these airlines. No, nothing to report. Would you like to report a UFO? No. And they'll choose not to. And I understand that. Fear for your job is a real fucking thing. So, but the report discusses the stigma surrounding personnel or observers who report UAPs. But of the 144 reports investigated, only 18 incidents covered by 21 reports appeared to exhibit advanced technology, had exterior or abnormal air behavior during the exercise. In a few unspecified cases, there was even evidence that military aircrafts, why he puts this in a parenthetical statement, because he's making this. This is his subjective view. So he doesn't need to do that. This isn't a quote. So once again, I get after journalists for their misuse of language. There's no reason to have that as parenthetical. It's not a quote where he had to add something to something somebody else said. That's silly. He's saying it, so why is it parenthetical? There was even evidence that military aircraft systems process radio frequency RF energy. Perhaps some increase the radio noise, which we've seen now on Skinwalker Ranch, has an impact on activity there at the ranch. But for all the times that nothing was reported, either because something was immediately identified or because the pilot simply chose not to report it, and we've heard actual radio recordings where that's how it ended. No, I have nothing to report. Even though you just went through a massive event and you got nothing to report at the end of it, that's a person terrified for their fucking job. That's all that is. So challenge number 4, if an incident or observation is truly related to something concrete and physical, we cannot be sure whether we are seeing a single underlying phenomenon or many. It's like, well, because like the Tic Tac is a prime example of this. If you rely on what we saw, you would think there was only one, but at the beginning of that, there was like a pod of these UFOs. And once again, his use of the UAP thing here can be misleading because it's sort of like describing certain things. It can be one thing or it can be the other, or a UFO is also a UAP. It is a UAP, but it is a designated UAP because now it's been identified as unidentified. It's an object. We now know this is an object, so you can actually say object, but you can still also refer to it as a UAP. But I think it's disingenuous to do that because you know that it's physically an object. Once you know that it's an object, you should just get comfortable with saying unidentified flying object, if you can refer to it as flying. Because if they're using magnetism or other things like bubbles to travel in, warp bubbles, how would reporting such things affect your job? Well, it depends. Like if you work for commercial airlines, several major airlines, one of them now defunct, doesn't even exist anymore, Pan Am, had standing unwritten rules that if you reported a UFO, they would yank you off that flight, any future flights, until you pass a psychological evaluation. And then some other airlines just simply pull you from the flight deck and you'll never fucking do it again. Because they saw reports, public reports, anything that would be made public as bad business for airlines. They didn't want people afraid of flying that they might run into a UFO while they're up in the air. And that's why. That's why. In the military, it was frowned on, especially in land-based military. The Navy has always been a little open-minded, and the Air Force has been aware of it, and the reports went through a process in the Air Force, and they were controlled. They didn't go for public viewing. The Air Force, and I bring this up, Don and I talked about this. In 1947, after we started seeing UFOs, what did the Air Force do? They were the ones who were controlling it through the Army. Army Air Force is what they were called. They broke from the Army immediately afterward, and they became their own agency. They became the United States Air Force. They controlled the UFO phenomena investigations. There you go. Next, right after that happened, Harry Truman, after the Majestic 12 and all that shit, created what used to be the OSS, became the CIA. And Harry Truman told Kennedy that, warned him. He says, biggest mistake I ever made was creating the CIA. He says, you should disband it. And a lot of people have said that it was that thing right there that got Kennedy killed, but I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all. I think organized crime had him killed. The CIA were complicit. I think they were fully aware what he was going to do, or they were going to do. But I think organized crime put the whole thing together. But
Well,
Mr. Drunk, there's the answer to your question. I hope I answered it to your satisfaction. Thank you for the Canadian $2. With Trudeau in charge up there, I don't know how much that is in US dollars.
39 cents, I think.
39 cents. It's just God, Trudeau is just destroying you up there. He's just, oh my God, I feel bad for every Canadian for what you guys are going through.
Well, we got to deal with Biden, so.
Well, I think we'll survive him. I think the system as it's set up here is less easily manipulated than it is up in Canada. Trudeau is doing something that's going beyond what anyone would be able to do here. And they try to do that shit, and we'll fucking shut them down before they can do it. But for that one, $2, I'm going to play you, again, my favorite alien clip right here.
Do you believe any of this voodoo bullshit, Blair?
Charles, chariots of the gods, man. They practically own South America. I mean, they taught the Incas everything they know.
And if you've not been watching Ancient Aliens, they're really digging into this stuff this year. They're really going at it. And I've always been an Ancient Alien believer. So I'm just going to ask for Wednesdays off so I can watch UFO Wednesday until I can get a night job. I love you, Monkey Jeeves.
Hey, Gary.
Yeah.
Going back to when the Air Force split from the Army, we're seeing that again now with
Space Force. I got to tell you, Space Force has existed for a while.
Yeah, but now it's
we weren't the first one. A lot of people that hate Trump were acting like he created it. He didn't create it. It's been around for a while. We just didn't have an official name for it, and it was through the Air Force. NASA works in tandem with the Air Force. If you're not aware of that, I'm going to say it again. NASA works in tandem with the U.S. Air Force, and the U.S. Air Force has had near governmental control of the UFO situation in the United States since 1947. Because when they split from the Army, they took total control. The Army had no say anymore. You understand? Air Force wanted total control. They wanted a patent on controlling the UFO story. They wanted control of the narrative. They wanted control of whatever was happening. The Army would be sent in these situations, like in Kecksburg, but it's the Air Force who would end up getting it by order of the Department of Defense. We learned a lot of this stuff if you read all the Majestic 12 stuff.
Yeah. We got Polly with a super chat.
Yeah. You want to read it, Martin? Yeah, man. Go ahead. You read it.
Hey, Pop Culture, make sure to catch Martin's debut on Midnight Ed Español today at 12 noon Pacific. His first review will be on the 80s film Predator.
Fuck yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that today. You know I'm going to be watching, dude. Now, is that going to be live or is it recorded?
It's recorded, and please don't think less of me after you have seen it.
Oh, no, I love you, Martin. You know I'm not going to think less of you.
I don't like the sound of my voice.
I like the way you talk. Are you kidding me? Hold on, put that back up there, motherfucker.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Motherfucker,
I told you I'm still half asleep.
Let me see. What am I going to do? I think I'm going to play. Where's it at?
And thank you, Paulie, for the shout out.
Yeah, and thank you for the $4.99 super chat.
And everything, man. You're great, Paulie.
Oh, he is. Let's see. Come on, I can't see the fucking video now. Where the fuck is the video?
Well, Martin, you're not the only one that hates the sound of their voice.
You're talking.
Nobody likes the sound of their voice.
You sound like a smooth midnight DJ. So the radio DJ.
Oh, that's
who?
Well,
I got
the face for radio. That's for sure.
Don't we all?
Oh my God, I cannot find the video. I wonder if I deleted it. Oh, I hate myself sometimes. I'll play this one. This one's for you, Polly. I'm sorry, I don't have the video that I wanted to play you.
Remember, Sally, when I promised to kill you last?
That's right, Major. You did.
I lied.
And the next scene is so funny. Radon Chung goes, "Where's Sully?" "I let him go."
No,
go.
you know, Monkey Jeebles is right. That guy shouts "ooh la la."
Ooh la la. Darius Munchausen with a $2 happy birthday to the lovely Sherry. Lovely Sherry, happy birthday. I'm so
Happy
glad
birthday.
Oh,
we
happy
found
birthday,
that out.
Gerry.
And let's see, for you, I don't have any birthday ones. Oh, come on. I should get something like that. But for you, I'm going to play here. This is the one I found it finally. This is the one I wanted to play for Polly. So now I'm going to play this one for Darius. First, though, just for lovely Sherry.
I'd buy that for $1.
Yeah, there we go. And then for Darius Munchausen, who is the safest form of Munchausen to have, is...
You one ugly motherfucker.
I got a fever. And the only prescription is more cowbell.
You know what's really funny is on my drum kit, and so many rock drummers, guys that play classic rock, will have a fucking cowbell to attach to their fucking hi-hats. And I would put one on. It was just a quick lug. You slide it over the post and then hit the butterfly, and it tightens in. Instead of hitting hi-hats, you're hitting that fucking cowbell. So, looks like Scott Lewis. Yes, Scott Lewis is in the chat. Good morning. Anybody else new here? You got the Tomb of Dracula. Of course, Darius Munchausen, Latino Slant Polly, whom we love deeply on this channel. He is a cherished member of our community. And we have, I got to tell you, we have so few cherished members of our community. I am not part of that. I'm not cherished. Keith is, Polly is, and as much fun as Tom can be, it's Andre. Andre is a cherished member of our community. They are essential.
We can't forget Mike, Mexican Iron Man.
Well, Mexican Iron Man, yeah, because I keep forgetting he does have an online personality. He's out there because of Sundays and stuff like that. But the fact is, Mikey works behind the scenes more than anything.
Yeah.
And a lot of people like y'all that are watching right now. Did you hear that? Y'all that are watching. That's my Southern. I'm sorry. You all that are watching right now might not be fully aware of everything that Mexican Iron Man does, and he doesn't really want everybody to know. So I'm not going to say everything that he does, but I'm just going to tell you, Mikey is an amazing force behind all of our shows. When I tell you that we're in a network, that connection is Mexican Iron Man. He connects all of us at a DNA level. So, but again, I want to, yes, just sing happy birthday. Not doing it again today. Fuck you. Excuse me. Asthma. Check my DMs.
Well, while you're looking at that, I could.
Oh, yes, I've seen this one. Yes. Oh, wait, or is this one? Wait a minute. What is this? Is this the video? Yes. Oh, so you're doing this through Midnight's Edge Espanol. Okay. I thought it was going to be through your channel. Oh, this is awesome. You sent me the link. Thank you very much. I've already clicked the notification thing to remind me to come to it. That's fantastic. Can I share the link? Yes, I'm going to share the link. Fuck you. I know you want me to. It's a dumb question. I answered my own question. I talk to myself a lot. It's not always nice. Oh, our Muslim uncle is here. There you go. Here is the link to the Predator video that's going to launch in 2 hours. There you go. Well, 1 hour. There it is, guys. Go check it out. Get your, click your reminder so you don't fucking miss it. Let's see. Mr. Tickle Truck is here. Hey, buddy. Bill Barkley. Orville Nation was already here. Let's see. Scribe Light. Good. He is one of my other writing buddies. I love talking to writers because I'm not just an artist, man. I'm a writer, and I really like talking about writing with my writing buddies. And I like that Scribe and Script Doctor both dig what I have to say about writing, even though I'm nowhere near as educated about it as they are. Dragon Bricks, welcome, my friend. And Tomb of Dracula. It's good to see you today. I haven't seen you in a few days. It's good to see you. And once again, this show is all about the chat, really. I'm going to stop reading this guy because he's really overly redundant. Nothing bothers me than the Department of Redundancy department, saying the same thing over and over again in the exact same way, but making it sound different when it's not. And when I see that, I know exactly what it is because I was a journalist for years working for magazines, and it's your word fill because you get paid by the word. It's just a cheap, sneaky way of doing it. Yes, Mexican Iron Man. Put that back up, dude. Put that back up. Darius, you're so fucking right. He is the glue. I got to talk to him this week, and he knows how much I love him. He does. I express great love to him, and I mean it every time I say it. And when I tell you guys I love you, I really do. I love you guys. I love seeing you in the morning. This makes my day, seeing you guys. I was in a foul mood when I started this show. Was I not, John?
Yes, you were.
I'm in a fucking great mood now, and it's because of you guys. I shit you not. It's you guys. Mexican Iron Man is literally Tony Stark. El Tony Stark. Antonio Stark. If he was Italian, it would be Anthony. Anthony Stark. Is there another story? Let me see if there's anything else, because this... Okay, here we go. Let's see what this one's about. This is over on space.com. And again, they're all talking about, it's all connected to the same story. So I'm going to go take a peek at this. If I see that it's the same thing, I'll just bounce off it. We'll just do our typical talking till the show ends. I will talk about one thing, The Patient. I'll talk about that in a minute. If you've not seen this show, it's got Steve Carell, and it's a really good fucking show. I've watched the 2 first episodes, and I'm hooked already. Absolutely hooked on this show. So let me share this screen real quick so we can... There it is. So NASA going full study. This is really important. Yeah, later. This is really important to us, and we're placing a high priority on it. So NASA isn't taking its coming UFO investigation lightly. No, and this stuff's been going on for a long time behind the scenes. We're just starting to see it done in a more public way. And we've needed this for a while, transparency in this shit. Because for too long, they've allowed the disinformation thing to play. And that's the problem they've run into now. There's been so much disinformation put out there that was allowed out by the CIA and by NASA and the Air Force. Again, NASA works in tandem with the Air Force. If you weren't aware of it, now you are. If you were aware of it but didn't believe it, come on, man. Come on, man, as Biden would say. Come on, man. It's real, and it's time to get comfortable with the uncomfortable. There are a lot of things that make us uncomfortable in this life, and knowing intelligent life is out there that might not be alien at all. They may be extra dimensional. I don't think they're time travelers, but I do believe in the potential of the extra dimensional thing because of the fact we see something that looks a lot like what we've seen on TV with Stargates and wormholes, controlled wormholes, like in Deep Space Nine. In fact, on Skinwalker Ranch, they saw an illumination as this object or phenomena was moving forward. There's like an opening, and it just faded. It just disappeared into that. And they immediately thought Stargate. That was the first thing they thought about. Astrophysicists. That's what they were thinking. I do like talking in the chat. I don't really like UFOs or House of Dragons or what have you. I do like the peeps in chat. Hell yeah, great fucking chat. And this is a chat, and I know all you guys. I love seeing you guys. I love seeing some of you last night on Toxic Tuesday. And D. Bud Martin, was that not a great show last night? I mean, that was one of the best shows. And we did Blazing Saddles. You cannot talk about the single greatest comedy in cinema history and not have a great show.
I'm sad I missed it, but I'll
go back and
later
watch
today.
it, man. It was so much fun, man. We were just having a blast talking about that. I just noticed no Robo Gary. Have you finally sorted out G-Man? No, the fact is I'm actually on one bar right now. I'm looking up at my screen. If you can see my screen, it's got the 3-bar, Wi-Fi signal, 1 bar. But the fact is my download is really good. I am at 15. I fucked with it yesterday, and I got really not terse. Just I was very intense on the phone with their internet company, and I'm like, look, man, this account has existed for over 12 years. Their modem has never been upgraded. That is something you should have done. That shouldn't be something requested by the, because they don't know when you're going to upgrade. You do. When you upgrade your service, you should be checking every single customer's modem if it's compatible. Their internet device is not compatible with the internet you give. Because they tried to do a walkthrough with me on something, because I said, I'm not seeing what you're telling me. And then I shared my screen with them. And I said, what you're saying doesn't exist on this fucking modem. They're like, well, how old is your modem? I said, you should know that. I actually said that to them over the phone as I was sharing my screen through the chat for them to look at. I said, you should know what modem they have. So they looked at it. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's, I'm like, yeah, you're stating what I already fucking said to you, that this should have been replaced a long time ago by you. So after I said all this shit, they're going to stop billing they've been billing them $11 a month for 12 fucking years on this fucking piece of shit modem, CenturyLink. It's been defective and retired for close to about 9 years.
That's
and
ridiculous.
If not 10, I would say 10. I would say 10 years this thing was obsolete already and retired. Because that's what they call it in the cable business, internet business, is that modem has been retired.
You think they would notice that when they go to provision the modem?
Yeah. On top of that, if I didn't share with you guys, but I've got photos of it. I should share next opportunity. I took photos of the wall mount. They have a wall mount that actually fits only a DSL cable, which is like a glorified telephone. It's an RJ11, and it fits the fucking one cable, and then that splits into the telephone via a splitter into a telephone and the internet. You have to have the filter because the filter is what separates the DSL signal. So I went in and replaced the cables, is what I did yesterday. It's all I could do. Now, today we're supposed to get the new modem to replace that one. I'm telling you, man. I just...
That's like...
CenturyLink, it has a monopoly here. There's no other internet provider here. There's no AT&T, no Cox cable, no media... what's that? The one from...
Mediacom.
Yeah, Mediacom. I dated the manager of the first Mediacom office. And when we broke up, I noticed my bills would get doubled every once in a while. I didn't think it was accidental. I get billed twice. I'm like, that fucking bitch still working there. But
well, that setup sounds...
So I've got us, but well, I'm just gonna say just the last thing and then say what you're gonna say. I put in newer DSL cable that's actually made last in this last year, anywhere between here and a year ago. That's how new it is. And I replaced all their DSL cable, and we were getting 6 to 7 megabits per second when it's supposed to be 15. And we're supposed to be getting, they said, 5 megabits per second on upload speed. Now, by replacing the DSL cable, I took us up to 15 megabits per second on download. But we're still at 0.7 to 0.8 of 1 megabit per second on upload. So it's still not good. Not satisfied with that at all.
No, it shouldn't be.
Either someone's behind me or the cats are fucking around. There's like all the kittens are upstairs now, the ones that were in the basement. They're like, there's more than the basement? These kittens, all they knew was the basement. They come out and they're like, fuck, what is that? It's called sunlight. Holy shit, I like laying in this. I'll walk through the bathroom, through the hallway, and the bathroom door is open and the light's coming through, and every single kitten is laying like a mat, and I've got to walk around them because I can't even go over them. They're so spread out in that sunlight. It's funny. So I've got us up to, just by replacing the cable, I got us up to 15 megabits per second. So getting the problem with the modem that we have, when I talk about it's 2.5 gigahertz and 5 gigahertz. And what that is, do you know what that is, John? Because I'm assuming you might know what that is. A lot of people don't know. That is the signal it sends out. So when they had me go into the settings on the modem, they're like telling me, now click where it says 2.5, you need to click the 5 gigahertz next to that. I said, that's not there. That's how old this fucking modem is.
That's the router part of the modem, but yeah.
Yeah, it's not sending out that Wi-Fi signal to them, which explains why, like Brad, when he's trying to game, gets such sometimes he can't even log into the internet. After I did what I did yesterday, they were able to log into it a little better. But once we get the new modem, I'm going to be able to select that 5 gigahertz for the Wi-Fi, and it's going to be a whole new game. And hopefully, it'll also increase our upload speed, because that's the biggest problem for doing the show. Is download speed's great.
Well, if that modem's 12 years old, that's probably no, it might be an AB wireless. Might be that old.
I don't know. You got me on that one. I'm not sure, but
sorry,
it's definitely something. Let me get back to the chat because I've neglected it. They just read a script, Gary. Technical support is a joke. Oh, no, yeah. I know that. I made fun of that the other day. You were there when I said it, I think. I said, yeah, I'm talking to this person, and I immediately realized that this person doesn't know shit about what they're talking about. They have a prompter script where I say something and they look for the closest answer. And that's not technical support. It is not. I want an actual fucking IT person. I know how to talk to them. I know how to. I'm saying the proper words to this fucking girl that was talking to me yesterday. God, she fucking annoyed me. It was really funny. The last thing I said to her, you like this, John? At the end of this, she refused to send a tech into the house for repair on the port. I said, it needs to be repaired. That thing is over 12 years old. I can tell by the color of it, it's that old. Nobody uses that color anymore. Like, that's like Ma Bell, Pacific Bell type of...
that ugly beige?
Yeah, beige. Nobody fucking uses that anymore. So I know how fucking old it is. And she's like, what's our... And she's trying to do an American. She's from the Near East or from, India.
Yeah, that's where they usually...
And she's reading from a script, and she will not fucking go off script with me. She will not. And I said, no, you need to send somebody. This is a problem. I see it, and I know this is a problem. And, well, I'm nationalist, not racist. because I'm making fun of their nationality. Anyway, so we've got that, and they're ignoring me, and she's going, "We are going to send you a new modem tomorrow, free of charge." That's how irritated with them I was, that they realized they had fucked up, and they knew they fucked up. So we are going to send you a brand new modem, free of charge. It will arrive tomorrow. I went, okay. And I said, but you're still not going to send a tech. No, from what I am seeing, this is, from what I'm reading, is what she meant to say, is that this is purely a modem issue. No, it's not. No, it's not. But she says, is there anything else I can do for you? I said, yeah, but it'll be after I get the modem and prove again that it's the wall mount too. So I guess I'll talk to you or somebody tomorrow after I've connected the new modem with its built-in router. It's got a built-in router. That's what the Wi-Fi is, yeah. So I told him, yeah, you're going to have to do more, but not right now, because clearly I'm not going to get anywhere with you right now. But when I call you tomorrow, and I know I'm going to call him today after I hook up the new modem. I know I'm going to call him for technical support again to fix a problem that they created or allowed to happen. Well, Gary, for what it's worth, like someone said, they're going off a script, and most of them are, yeah, absolutely. So you always ask for a supervisor or something. That is something that, because when we're talking, the supervisor would not talk directly to me. What they did is they stood over her at one point, and that's when the free modem was involved, because he knew they fucked up. So yeah, you should always request for a supervisor. And really, to be honest with you, you don't really have to ask for him, Marshall, because the fact is, the minute they realize they're in over their head and it's not on the script, they immediately call a supervisor over. And that person begins to, they'll probably put a headset on that doesn't have a mic on. I worked in a company like this. I know how it goes. And they'll sit down with the person, and they'll just say what needs. And I can hear him talking. I couldn't hear what he was saying, but I could hear him talking to her. And then she would repeat whatever it was that he had said. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to get anywhere. I'm going to prove him wrong. I know I'm going to prove him wrong today.
Well, when I deal with Spectrum,
your router is black. When you what?
When I deal with Spectrum, I always go into it with, because I've done IT for over 30 years. I mean, that's my livelihood. It was until my back went out. But I always give them, okay, I've done this, I've done this, I've done this, I've done this, I've done this. And they go, oh, okay. Well, we'll have to either send a tech out or have a tier 2 support call you. And they usually just hand me off to tier 2 immediately.
Yep. And by the way, hold on, go back to that last one. That is exactly what they did. That's exactly what happened. And I knew that they were calling for a supervisor too, because I've worked in IT as well as telemarketing. And even though we did what's called warm calls to hot calls with the company I was with, it was called Yodel. It is the #1 company doing what it does. And I enjoyed working with him, but it's too high stress for me. And I started having heart palpitations again because I have social anxiety. And it was triggering my anxieties, talking to people. And so I just stopped. But what was going on with those calls, if I got into a situation with that company and I got into an area, because I was new, and I'm like, I don't know the answer to that question. So what ends up happening is you get one of your supervisors, comes right over, sits down, and when you're doing, they're called warm sales or hot sales, where it's a customer who wants something, they will sit across from you and put that headset on, but the mic is turned off. And you have to take your headset off. This is the scariest thing that ever happened to me doing this. You take your headset off, and they're the ones that's hearing what the customer is saying. And then they look at you and they speak very quietly like this. Well, sir, let me tell you something. And you go, well, sir, let me tell you something. And you literally are repeating everything that person is saying right after they say it. I mean, almost instantly. And it's something you're trained to do in that kind of marketing. And it was fascinating. And I learned so much doing that. And I'm grateful for that. Company is a great company. Yodel. If you've never heard of it, go check them out. And it's not spelled like yodel, like yodeling. It's an LE. And it's a very good company that helps businesses grow. And it's not always for every business. In fact, they know that. So they limit the businesses they interact with. But they have such high markings. And I don't know if they went public yet. I think they did. Once they did, man, the value of that company just skyrocketed. Because I do believe they did back in 2017. I think they went public. Because my nephew still works for him. He and I work together. I loved working with my nephew. That's JT, my black nephew. And he is like the fucking best. He is the bomb. And he is one of the few members of my family I absolutely stay in constant contact with because he's so fucking cool. And he calls me Uncle Gerry, and I fucking love it when he calls me Uncle Gerry. Uncle Gerry. Psychological warfare. I'm assuming that's something. I want to go back to something you said, Marshall. So you know what also and I'm going to highlight it here. You know what also you can use, threaten to leave their company. Here's the problem. I live in Sparta, Missouri. If there's a bright spot in the universe, it is the farthest point from it. We are in the middle of Missouri BFE. If you don't know what BFE means, it means bumfuck Egypt. That means there is nothing here. There is nothing here. They have a pharmacy, they have a Dollar General, and they have a couple of gas stations, and that's about it. That's Sparta, Missouri. You drive about a couple miles more, and you're in Ozark. Ozark is a small town, but it has much more than this fucking town does. We have only one internet company that works with us. This company. You can't threaten them with that. That's the problem. I wanted to threaten them with that. But I checked. I went through everything to find out if anybody could do. And I did. I even signed up for one. I signed up for one because it said it was available. But then I got a phone call saying, I'm sorry, sir, we did check. Our service is not available where you're at. And I'm like, God damn it. So I thought I was going to get them off of this, but nope. So instant change in tone, you can get everything you want. Yes, I agree with you. That works in most situations where you don't have a monopoly. CenturyLink has a monopoly on internet for Sparta.
And just so everybody knows what kind of quality company CenturyLink is, they've got 1 star.
Yeah, they do not have a high ranking. By the way, I've been doxing myself for years because I'm a professional commercial artist. People need to know where I'm at in order to hire me for artwork. So, yeah, that's why I make fun of people that are afraid of being doxed. I'm like, look, man. And I've told people, I said, you don't want to show up at my house unwelcome. You really don't. Prime example, I put an arrow into a guy once. I didn't have a gun with me at the time. And I shot him and stuck him to a windowsill when he was trying to come through my window. I warned him before he came in because I saw he had a little nickel-plated fucking 32, cheap ass with electrician's tape on the handle. It's like so fucking cheap. It's clearly an illegal gun. And he was intending to do me harm because I beat the shit out of his brother. And he wanted to shoot me, kill me. And a pot dealer buddy of mine warned me that it was going to happen. So I'm like, I don't own a gun. What am I going to do? And I thought I could borrow a gun from somebody. I'm like, no, you don't want to do that because I know I'm probably going to end up shooting somebody. And I don't want to shoot somebody with somebody else's gun. Yeah. That creates a whole other problem. So I'm like, fuck it. I am an archer. A lot of people don't know that about me. I'm really good with throwing things. Darts, I win every game. People don't like playing me on darts. And archery, I'm an expert. And so I instead of a target arrow, I used broadheads, hunting arrows on this guy. And I stuck him to a windowsill. Right through his thigh, went right through part of his femur.
Ow.
And it went under his femur. And it was a 3-point broadhead. And one of the blades nicked his fucking bone. and he let out the most guttural animal sound I'd ever heard in my life. And I drew back again. And I said, the next one's going to kill you. Drop what's in your hand. And I heard the thunk, thunk, rattle, rattle, rattle across the floor of this fucking pistol sliding and tilting back and forth. And then I turned on the lights and saw what I did. And I called the police. And they sent Jimmy Crisp, who is a local cop there in Fredericksburg, Virginia, when I was a kid. And I was close friends with his brother. So we knew each other. And I called, and then he shows up at my door, and I opened the door and went, Jimmy. He goes, Gerry. And I went, yeah. He goes, am I at the right address? I went, for what? And he says, I got a call for somebody stuck to a window with an arrow. I went, oh, yeah, it's in here. I backed up and I pointed over there, and he leaned in and looked, and then he grabbed his shoulder microphone and he goes, yeah, Control, go ahead and send that bus. There is a guy stuck to a window with an arrow here. They thought it was a prank. And so he got bolt cutters out because I told him I was already an EMT at this time. I'm like, don't remove an impaled object. And I don't want to see him sitting there because he was in agony because his foot hadn't planted yet. His foot was slightly up. So all his weight was going onto that bone where the arrow was laying on the bone. And so his entire leg was just vibrating. So we got a bolt cutter in between the windowsill and his leg. So, yeah, funny little historical story of me. So when it comes to people showing up at my house unwelcome, yeah, I will shoot them with an arrow or whatever's handy. I have no qualms about it. It's like I said to my sergeant when he called me a pacifist. I said, I'm not a pacifist. I said, I have no trouble. If I have to kill somebody, I'll do it. I just won't kill somebody when I'm ordered to do it. But if it's defending myself or somebody else, I'll fucking do it in a heartbeat. And I'll go to bed that night, sleep just fine. I will not have any residual nightmares over it. Never have. And it's that feeling of justification. And do you know what I'm talking about, John?
Yep.
Yes.
You feel very justified in what you do. You don't carry any guilt.
Nope.
So, no, I wish it was. There's nothing heroic about me. Nothing. I'm just a person who acts quickly on things because I don't give myself time to think, because that's how you become afraid, is you give yourself time to think about it and then you become afraid.
I'm not a hero. I just play them in role-playing games.
Gerry, I'll send you the Tory party from the UK. I got to tell you, man, you've got a problem there in the UK because both parties are fucking ganked. They really are. You need another Thatcher. You know, Boris Johnson was a fucking idiot. He looked like a fucking baboon. What, dude? I'm not a baboon, orangutan. He looked like a orangutan. What were you going to say, John?
Oh, never mind. I answered my own question before I finished it.
Gap, I would love to play darts. I haven't played in years, but I still think that I'd be good at it. I love playing darts, man. And my game is cricket. And it always has been. That's the game I play. I fucking love cricket. Oh, wait, what was that? I don't know if you're aware. Why I didn't shoot him with it? I didn't have a gun. I didn't own one. I wasn't going to borrow a gun knowing I might shoot somebody. You shouldn't do that. You shouldn't borrow a gun knowing you might have to shoot somebody. Oh, what's this?
Keith was abducted by aliens.
No, Keith was messaging. Oh, this is the conversation between Jeff. How much would a 6x8 vinyl banner cost? Okay, there we go. We're getting a new banner for doing our panel down near at Extremicon in St. Roberts. If you guys haven't seen that video yet, it's pretty. Keith and I had fun recording it. Because St. Roberts, where the convention is also where Fort Leonard Wood is. Fort Leonard Wood is in St. Roberts, Missouri. And I said, wait a minute, St. Roberts, I went to Army basic training there. That's where I was when I said I would never live in this fucking state.
Yeah.
Because of the insanity of the fucking weather. Weather is crazy.
Until you did the video, I was thinking it was in St. Louis. But Yeah. So
Yeah.
even I don't know every place in Missouri.
No, and I found out about a place the other day in Missouri. You know, the first place in Missouri I ever heard of was Hannibal, thanks to
Mark Twain.
Mark Twain, Samuel Clemens. Wait, what? I've not seen the new Winnie the Pooh trailer. I'm going to go check that out after the show. But I did want to get into another show. And I'm sorry I told you that story about that. I don't want people to think weird shit. I was young. I had to send my wife and kid away that night because I didn't want anybody harmed. I was afraid that this guy would get a shot up before I was able to do anything. And I didn't want my kid and my wife there. So I sent them away. That's how young I was. It was my first marriage. And, but I also described that incident that took place in a bar when a guy, it was his brother, actually, it was his brother, stuck me with a knife. And I had just turned with a beer in both hands to take to the table. We were on break. My band was on break. And I was going to take my bassist, Danny Marolino, I was going to take him a beer. And when I turned, all of a sudden, I was like, what the fuck just happened? Because I couldn't move. I stopped moving and I looked down and there's this fucking knife in my wrist poking through the other side.
Ouch.
It went in between the bones, went right between them, cut no major blood vessels. But what happened next was just happenstance. I just immediately, when I pulled away, I was too close to my body when I did it. So when I pulled away, I went upward and I pulled the knife out of his hand. It went against his thumb and it just popped out of his hand. And it did a what do you call it? Diving board thing where it bounced and then flew out of my arm into the air and went across the room and slid across all the way on the other side of the bar. And I looked at it and I saw blood coming out of my arm. I'm like, and I looked at him and the first thing I thought and said was, you stabbed me. And the guy got this panic look on his face. And I also, by the way, by doing what I did, I poured the beer all over myself. It was like the wristwatch joke where you're holding a drink and you got to look at the time. If I can pour the beer all over myself. And I dropped that mug and I fucking clocked this guy. Just nailed him. I leaned past him and hit him. So I hit right through his head. And I knocked him straight to the ground. And he went straight, hit that hardwood floor hard. And then I went down on top of him. And this is what I regret to this day, that I did this. His head was planted against the hardwood floor, and I hit him full force into the floor. And that means somewhere in my fucking subconscious, I was trying to kill him, and I know that. And that scared me. Later, I'm like, you need to have better control of yourself than that. Because I could have killed him when I hit him the second time. He was over. It was out. He was out. It was over. And I went to hit him a third time. And that's when two guys that were there at the bar said, okay, he's gone. He's gone. And they grabbed me off of him. And somebody put a fucking bar towel on my wrist. And the rest of the funny story. And then I dealt with the brother with the arrow. And finally, when my day in court came with both brothers. And it was there basically to find out, is this shit over? Or are we going to have to file charges and book these guys? And they did get a basic booking for assault, but it didn't go past that because I didn't want to go any further. I just wanted to hear it from their lips. Are we done? Are we done? That's all I want to know. Are we done? And I got to tell you, they told me they were done, and I never saw them ever again or heard about them. I think they moved away. And after the incident. I don't know, man. I went down on him. Fuck you guys. That's a good one. That's good. I love you guys. You guys. I've actually had private talks. This is the first time I've ever talked publicly about it. I feel kind of weird having talked about it, but that's sort of what this show is about me telling stories from my life and the shit that I've done. And I was really young. This took place like in the 80s, like a long fucking time ago. I was a whole different human being because you change every 7 years. You're a whole different person than you were 7 years before. And getting together with awards. I love awards. You know what's really funny with billiards? you would think because of my ability to play darts and shoot and all that shit and throw, I have trouble playing pool. And I finally figured out what it is I have an astigmatism. And they don't focus right. And so playing pool only works when I'm slightly drunk. Then all of a sudden, everything comes into focus. And it's the alcohol. It's having that effect on my brain. And it allows me to focus better. And I can play pool when I'm slightly drunk, just slightly. And I like buzz drinking. I don't like heavy drinking anymore. When I was fucking 30 years old, and I was in college, and I went to a party with all my buddies, and we came back, and I woke up the next morning. I don't black out. I remember everything. And I woke up, and I remembered I had to get 2 fucking trash cans because I was afraid I was going to fill the first one up and need a second because I kept puking so much. I woke up with both my feet on the ground, laying on my bed. And that morning, I was done. I'm not going to drink like that again. Fuck that shit.
I can't remember the last time I actually got drunk. I can tell you it was a con, though.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I did get pretty drunk one time, but it wasn't my fault. I misunderstood.
Really?
You know the girl I'm talking about. She does the furry conventions. She has a walker now. We've been friends for a long time. We almost went out once, and then I went on sort of a virtual date with her. We talked, and I went, "Oh, you're too freaky for me. You are way too fucking. You're into furry shit. Oh, fuck that noise. No. That's creepy as fuck for me." But we stayed good friends, and we were con friends, but we were friends outside of the cons too. And she gave me a bag of gummies one night, and she's like, really quickly, she goes, "Here, you're going to enjoy these." And then as she was turning, she said, "Gummy bears that I made." I went, "Oh, cool. These are homemade?" She's like, "Yeah." And she walked away. What I misheard was not gummy. It was rummy bears. I ate that entire fucking bag. It was like a pound bag of fucking gummies over a period of 2 hours. They were so fucking good. I was drunk as fuck. And that's how I met Deanna that night. Because I was drunk when I went into that hotel room. I was invited up there by my agent and his new employee, which happened to be Deanna's husband at the time. And so we went there, and I went to sit on the edge of the bed and didn't know someone was laying there, and I almost sat on her head. And that's how we met. But yeah, she's really into furry stuff, and that shit freaks me out. But yeah, yummy bears, man. They were fucking delicious, and they fucked me up. I was fucked up. But I wasn't drunk to the point of throwing up, but I was drunk. I was really drunk.
Oh, I never get that drunk.
I try not to because I don't like it. I don't like being in control of my body. I drink to get buzzed. Exactly. There you go, Kingsport Cow. You get it. I like buzz drinking. And another example of why I don't like getting drunk is there's a photo of me that I have. I'll show it to you guys sometime. Of me and my daughter when she was just a little baby. She had just learned to walk. And I was on the floor, just sitting there. It was cooler on the floor. We were at a friend's party, and I was just chilling on the floor. And she is like on me, and the boys had been treating me like my buddy's kids were treating me like a jungle gym, just climbing all over me. And his wife, I just forgot her name. Oh my God. Anyway, she took a photo, and I have that photo to this day. And I'm ashamed of that photo because you can look at me and see with my daughter holding me, looking up at me, and I'm drunk. And when I saw that photo, I became so ashamed of myself that I never drank. I stopped drinking altogether. I would only occasionally have a Guinness with dinner. I no more than 2. But it was very rare. I drink once a year when I'm craving Guinness. And because I grew up in an alcoholic home from parents that grew up in alcoholic homes. And I wasn't going to bring that into my daughter's life. And I remember Max showed up really fucking hammered one night to my apartment with his girlfriend who was also hammered. And she walked into the bathroom to throw up. And Zoe came out and I said, "Go back to bed, sweetie." She went back to bed, and I turned to Mac and I grabbed him by the arm gently. It was firm, but it was gentle. And I pulled him close to me so I could whisper in his ear. I didn't want anybody, especially my daughter, hearing what I said to him. I said, "Don't you ever fucking come here drunk like this again. Not with my daughter here. Don't fucking do it." And he didn't. He didn't give me his word. He just obeyed my order. Because he knew he was always welcome in my home. Because he's one of my best friends. But I didn't want him around my daughter like that. I don't want anybody like that around my daughter. I wanted her to live in a home that wasn't like mine, where everybody was their levels of consciousness was altered all the time by either drugs or fucking booze. And I felt that Zoe deserved something better than that. So, and this is why she considers me such a great dad, because I really I ramped up being a protector. And what I did at VisionCon by threatening those guys when they said something about my daughter's ass.
Yeah.
I threatened to kill him right there in the stairwell. That was in Branson. I'm like, fucking talking about my daughter, dude. I'll fuck your shit up. You do that again. Don't let me hear you disrespect my daughter like that again. "I'm so sorry, sir. I'm so sorry. I had no idea." You do now.
Yeah. Well, my dad was alcoholic when I was growing up. Well, he's alcoholic his entire, my entire life until he passed away. But that was because of what he went through in Vietnam. That was him dealing with his PTSD.
That's what led to my grandfather's drinking problem. And he became an alcoholic. He was also a town drunk because he would just fall asleep on the street. But it was the PTSD, or as they called it, shell shock.
Combat fatigue.
Combat fatigue later. That was World War II and Korea. It wasn't until closer to Vietnam that we got a full actual diagnosis for what it is. And post-traumatic stress or post-traumatic, because you have to have certain symptoms to be listed as the disorder. But you can absolutely be fucked up from post-traumatic stress. And but when it becomes a disorder, like when it causes alcoholism, like when it causes tremors. My grandfather shook until the day he died. His hands shook. And I tell people he was buried alive. And they had just driven the Germans back, or as he called them, the Huns. They had driven them back further, and they took their trench from them. And my grandpa and his squad decided, we did the brunt of the work today. You guys can take over. And they went into the German bunker and to take a nap. And there were like, I think 6 or 7 of them. And the 2 new guys were set at guard duty at the doorway to make sure they woke everybody up inside if something happened, or if a senior NCO showed up or officer. And so they got hit. I don't know if it was American, because I don't think my grandfather knew. All he knows is they got hit by an explosive round. It collapsed the entire bunker on top of them. And they were trying to figure out what to do. It was so concussive, it killed the 2 guys at the doorway. They were both dead. And everybody else was either severely injured or partially injured. Nobody got out of that uninjured. And in the process, they had a Welshman that was in their squad. And he was an old miner. And he says, well, what we need to do right now is conserve air and go to sleep. That's not true. What he was doing was telling them, because they didn't think they had an air source. He thought there was a cave in. And he knew that if you suffocate to death, it's better if you suffocate in your sleep than awake, because it's very horrible way to die, conscious. When you slip into unconsciousness, you actually slowly suffocate that way. You just go to sleep. You might have convulsions, but you're already unconscious. Your brain won't know what's going on, and you just die. But when they woke up again, they realized they must have a source of air. So they made a lantern. One guy had shinola, you know, I don't think it was kiwi. I think it was classic shinola. And he took a cloth or fabric and smeared it in the shinola and then sat it on top of the shinola, and somebody lit it with either a lighter or a match. And it was a makeshift lantern. And they started looking around, and they looked for where the smoke was going. And they saw the smoke was moving, and they found a stovepipe that led to the surface that was the size of a soup can. And they laid near that hole, getting air and yelling out of it. They didn't care if Germans dug them out. They didn't care. They just wanted out of there. And it just so happened a soldier wandered by. He was walking by, going back towards the rear, and heard them and told him, I'll get you help, and ran and grabbed some engineers. They grabbed engineers, but the engineers didn't have anything but shovels. And they dug them out with handheld shovels and got them out. And they were covered in their own urine and shit. They all shit themselves in the explosion. And their ears were bloody. And they found the two guys that were killed at the door opening, the two new guys. And ever since that moment, my grandfather shook. And but he was there from day one. He was the backup to the Marines. His unit was a backup to the Marines. When the Marines needed to pull back at Belleau Wood, my grandfather's group moved forward to hold the line while the Marines got a little rest, and then they came back and took it and fought the Germans, because the Marines are the ones who kicked the shit out of Germans at Belleau Wood. We got into that war. They were losing. Britain and France was losing the war. We got in there and just kicked the shit out of the Germans.
Hey, Keith.
Oh, shit. Hi, buddy.
Hey, how's it going?
How's it going with the construction on the house, man?
Well, a lot of the loud noise and banging has stopped temporarily. I think they're taking a break or something. So.
Oh, so that noise was the workers. Okay.
Woo.
Yeah, I know. You weren't ready for Gerry. I know. It happens. I can always tell when you're ready for me and when you're not. So when are they going to be done?
2 more days.
And this is just for the roof, right?
Yeah.
What are they doing? Did they pull up all the shingles and they're putting down new shingles? What are they doing?
They're giving me a whole new roof, basically.
Joists and everything?
Just about, with a lot. Well, not everything, but with the amount of stuff they found day one that they just ripped off the roof, and they took care of the chimney, which we're not really using, so they just knocked it all down.
Make sure that if they're laying down some new wood onto the frames, that they're not using cheap particle board, man.
No, they're not.
Missouri lets their laws are not strict enough on construction, and these guys will cheap you into stuff, and in the end, you end up having to spend more money later.
Yeah,
so they're using proper plywood.
Oh yeah,
that's going to be expensive though, man. It's almost 5 times the value it was a year ago. Wood. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, but we got to get this done, and it is expensive. It's definitely going to change how I do certain things for a little bit, and
how so?
It's just going to change a few things, but the big thing now is just getting on to the next project. So I got a list of things that need to be done, and this was the number one thing. And so now it's time to go to the next thing on the list.
What? Marshall's, what is this? Keith, oh, thank God he's alive. Lou Ferrigno didn't get him. Everybody's saying hi to you. Everybody's saying hi.
Hello, everybody.
Gap. I think Gap likes more than anybody there.
The Lou Ferrigno thing's an inside joke, so.
Okay, I don't want to know. I have my own Lou Ferrigno joke, which included Lou Ferrigno in person. Because I showed him that cartoon. I did. That had him in it. In the cartoon, it had some guy walk up to him. Lou, did you hear? And I put that in because I thought that'd be funny. They've got a new silent movie. They shot this movie on the old camera and film stock, and it's a modern silent film. Can you believe that? It's going to win an Oscar. It's silent film. And Lou looks at me and goes, every movie is silent to me, you idiot. I'm deaf. Lou read that and laughed. Not one of those haha laughs. He actually laughed. He goes, that's a good one, because he does talk that way.
Yeah.
And really nice guy. I really like him.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he's a super nice guy.
I worked with him on 2 projects, and it was really cool getting to meet him. Let's see. Place my fireplace with gas heat stove, said Keith. Gas heat. Also have to fix the gutters around my home, at Keith. So did this one, Gary. Well, I don't know what he's talking about. Which one is he referring to on that one, Martin? Do you know?
Yeah, Close Encounter Keith has with Lou Ferrigno.
Oh, right. Inside joke. Fuck you guys. Still popped in. I talked a little bit about UFO news, and I was really unimpressed with all the UFO news today. I really was. A lot of it is redundant, and talking about the same stuff. So I'm like, yeah. And I was a little surprised by one where he kept referring to UFOs as UAPs. I said, yeah, you can technically do that because every UAP can be a UFO, but not every UFO can be, but every UFO is a UAP. And that's true because it is an unidentified aerial phenomena. But once it's been referred to as an object, it's a solid object, you should call it a UFO and not a UAP. Because you should distinguish the difference. I think it's lazy. And then he was also saying like the same thing over and over again, but different ways in the article. And I'm like, oh, this guy's trying to get his words in so he gets paid.
Yeah.
What's going on with that guy?
Well,
King's Pork, I watched it. Yes. Yeah. Told you. Fun movie.
Yeah, that is a fun film. Look, they better start working on a sequel. That's all I know.
Absolutely. That movie deserves a sequel.
The brothers alone deserve their own.
They deserve their own movie. Yes, or series. That was so fucking good. That was the best part. I enjoyed the whole movie.
Yes.
Their scene at that house.
Yes.
All the different vampire types.
Yes.
Well, that's it. That's that one we call a crawler. That one's called a spider. That one's called a juvenile. That one, vampire has a different thing about him. I'm like, what the fuck? This is so cool.
It is so cool. I love those guys. They have a great working. The way they were on screen, they had chemistry with everybody in that scene.
And that's what's his name, the martial artist,
Scott Adkins.
Scott Adkins. I fucking love him, man.
This could be the role. This could be the role. This could definitely be a series, bro.
Yeah, we actually should do an entire show talking about that movie again. Just talk about how awesome it was. Show some action scenes from it. Make sure it's under 10 seconds,
Yeah.
Pauses. Because I got to tell you, John does not know how to count to 10. Got us clean. I had to delete the whole trailer segment.
Oh man. You know what? If memory serves, I think that's more my fault than John's fault.
It's nobody's fault. It's just a fun joke. I like to poke fun at people. I like to find something that might get under their skin a little and have fun with it. Like you guys do with me. Like you guys do that shit to me. You know that shit's gonna get under my skin, but I laugh at it anyway because I love it. I'm talking about the chat. The chat was fucking with me today. And I'm okay with it because that's the relationship we have. And the only reason I do this show is because I want to interact with the chat. I love doing it. I love these people. They're fucking awesome. And I like it too. Like I said last night, we did Toxic Tuesday. We did Blazing Saddles last night, dude. You really need to jump on when we do stuff like that because we started getting into how they did what they did and why it was okay what they did. Because 2 of the writers on there were black. and they were the ones who wrote the most racist stuff
Mm-hmm.
in the script.
Yeah.
That was Uda, I can't remember his last name, and Richard Pryor.
Yeah.
Now, Richard Pryor was originally optioned for playing Black Bart in the film.
Mm-hmm.
And Cleavon Little got it, and I think it's better that he did, because Cleavon Little is capable of being almost edgy, but then he's so fucking cool.
Well, he had stage.
Williams cool. He's Billy D. Williams cool.
Well, Cleavon also had stage training. You know, he was an actor, but he was an actor that could do comedy and could do drama, and he had that extra something that you need to be able to portray that character the way that it needed to be, because anyone that wasn't as trained, and at that time, Richard Pryor didn't really have any real training. I mean, he great stand-up.
Worse than that, he was too edgy at that time.
Yes.
And here's the thing with Richard Pryor. He does not have any suave. There's nothing suave about Richard Pryor.
Yeah. Well, he's a comedian.
And on top of that, he was untested at this point.
Yep.
And I went into the history of Richard Pryor. Richard Pryor didn't really become something they would refer to as socially acceptable with his comedy until Saturday Night Live. And that was in the following year, 75.
Yeah,
and
75.
when he did the Exorcist scene in Saturday Night
Oh,
Live.
jeez. That's classic.
Your mother sews socks in hell. I'm like, oh my God, I love that fucking episode so much. Your mother sews socks in hell. Instead of saying your mother sucks cocks in hell. It was so fucking funny what they did with that. His interactions with Chevy Chase, you know, and it was just really, that brought him to the public. That gave him something. But again, it wasn't until he appeared 2 years later on Carson that he was finally, that edge was kind of sanded down with him.
Yep. And he started getting up.
Carson, again, that brought him back after he got burned.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's the one who made him, you know, look, I'm so glad to have him back. And people are like, oh, we can love Richard Pryor again. Thank you, Johnny.
Well, the thing about Johnny Carson that is missing from a lot of late night hosts is that Carson really did all of them, really. He had a definite background and relationship with a lot of the people that he brought on. Yes.
Magic.
Because when you look at the backgrounds of a lot of the people who have hosted late night shows, not all of them have as extensive a resume and background as Carson did. Carson was made to be the host of a late night show, and the only person better than Carson was the one who had the show before him, which was Jack Parr.
Jack Parr, and then before him was Steve Allen.
Steve Allen
started the Tonight Show.
Yep. Yes, he did.
But we jump forward. The only other late night, and somebody tried to tell me David was, and I'm like, no, David didn't have Johnny Carson's skill.
And on top of that, David was not well liked by a lot of the people at NBC, which is another reason why he didn't get the gig.
He also wasn't liked by many of his guests. While Craig Ferguson, absolutely, he had a Carson approach to things. And he was absolutely the single best late night host since Carson.
There's an interview with Jay Leno. He's on the new podcast from oh man, forgot the guy's name. I can see his face. He's got his new podcast going on. Oh man, late night Friday, every Friday. Bill Maher has his new podcast where he gets to interview people, and he has this really cool, deep interview with Leno. And they started talking about late night hosts, and they get into some of the stuff that was about, Johnny and his experiences, and also comparing other late night hosts. And Craig Ferguson really was the game changer. They get into all this stuff about Conan and how that actually worked and what was actually going on behind the scenes. And the real reason why NBC didn't want Conan to have the Tonight Show was the fact that to bring Conan to host that show in an earlier time means that you're getting between the Tonight Show and Conan, they had two successful shows, one right after the other. To get rid of Leno to bring Conan in means that you're sacrificing one of those shows. It's basic math. Yeah. That's all it was. And as I've said for years, I know there's a lot of people that I'm about to piss off with what I'm about to say, but Conan is a bit of a phony. A lot of what went on between him and Leno is really more a lot of Conan fans who didn't want to hear the truth about what had actually happened behind the scenes. And they try to conflate that and confuse that with Johnny's quote-unquote relationship with David Letterman. There is a lot that goes into all of that stuff. But what you need to understand is that the story that Conan told on 60 Minutes and others was bullshit. I said it, and I'll say it again. It's bullshit. Because the reason why he was mad with Jay was that it came down to he thought he had an understanding with Jay. He thought he had an understanding with the network that Jay wouldn't come back to get his old job back. The reality is that the ratings came in, and Conan had the worst ratings of any host ever in the history of the Tonight Show. Period.
Yep.
Ever. And you had Jay Leno, who was doing his own thing. His ratings were bad. And so you had the head of NBC going, well, wait a minute. We've gone from having two great late night shows, and now we ain't got nothing. So what do? Well, you got to go back to where you were before. Just go back. Get the two top shows. Well, Conan didn't want to do it. He thought, well, this is my show, and I've done this. And what Conan needed to learn was, really, that wasn't his show. That was NBC's show.
Yeah, exactly. By the way, I need to remind everybody, the video is airing now on YouTube that Martin did for Predator. So I'm almost tempted for us to watch it.
No, it's in 90. I've got it open. It's in 96 minutes.
Hold on, because I
yeah, because it's a LA time, I think.
Yeah, it's at 1:45 Central.
Oh, okay. We get an hour. So an hour. All right. Never mind. Sorry, guys.
Anyway, as I was saying, there's a lot connected to that, and a lot of people did a lot of dumb stuff, but in the end, Conan was the one that cost himself all that money. Plus, he had bad representation. Jay Leno revealed that he didn't even have an agent. He gave the reason why he never had an agent negotiating, because by the time you go through a middleman to be able to translate whatever you're saying, you could be out a lot more than you think. You never know who's doing what and dealing with what behind the scenes. His thing is, I'm going to just be there and I'm going to negotiate for myself. Conan had someone else negotiate for him. And ultimately, he also screwed himself on that deal with the Tonight Show, because his contract to get bought out was closer to $10 to $11 million, whereas Leno's contract was well over 30 to 40. So yeah, guess who made it easy for NBC to tell them to go back and do what you were doing before? But that's not the story a lot of Conan fans wanted to hear at the time. Now I think now's a good time to tell that story, especially in light of everything that David Zaslav has done. You got to be able to separate your feelings from the business. And it's not show friends. It's show business.
But by the way, go back. I would like to get your thoughts on what we did last night with because I made fun of it at one point. I put up the comic guy, even though I look like the comic guy now. I shouldn't even bother doing the comic guy graphic. Go, most white panel ever.
I would have been happy to step in, but I was
single person on the panel was white. And I'm like, talking about race relations and shit. But is it with Tom and I, because Tom and I start getting into the history stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And Nick really likes that Tom and I do that. We get into the history of things behind the movie. But I even learned stuff from Tom last night I wasn't even aware of. And watch that video. It was fun. It was talking about, how the movie came about, why that was the best casting you could ever get for Blazing Saddles for that character, because he was capable of going there and still looking likable and cool.
Well, also, that says something about Mel Brooks also. You got to understand, we live at a time with a current group of people here who still think it's an achievement, and it is an achievement, what Peter Jackson was able to do with his Lord of the Rings films, okay? Mel Brooks filmed 2 movies almost simultaneously. 2 completely different movies. I mean, let that really sink in. It's not like you're making the same film with the same cast and you're just doing a separate movie. You're talking 2 completely different movies.
Yeah, because like a lot of people don't know that the first names were like Purple Sage. There was Tex X, a play on Malcolm X, and then they had the other one, which was they were going to call it Black Bart. Just call it Black Bart. Was the other one. And in fact, if you are quick with your remote, at the Grauman's Chinese Theater scene near the end, when it stops being a Western and becomes a movie about a movie.
Well, it's a meta. It goes meta.
It goes completely meta. Yeah. And even more so, it goes meta within meta. Because, like, as they go into the theater, up on the marquee, it says Black Bart. If you're fast enough, you can pause it and see it says that on the marquee. And then they go in to watch themselves to see how the movie ends. And then we go into the movie that they're watching, and it cuts to Gene Wilder sitting there with his feet up, holding a bag of popcorn from the theater. And just as a kid, that blew my fucking mind.
Yep.
How many layers of like into the image are we going to go? And
well, also you have to look at it like you had Madeline Kahn, Mel Brooks, and Gene Wilder. All 3 of them were also doing Young Frankenstein. So 2 completely different casts, 2 completely different stories, both comedies, but different sensibility, different things that they were doing. Both films, a play on some major Hollywood tropes, one being the Western that had been around since the very beginning of film, and the other one being horror, and mainly a play on a lot of the Universal horror films of the late 1930s and into the 40s. And Mel Brooks, again, I've said it before, the dude is a freaking genius. To this day, I think if he were in his 30s or 40s, he'd be killing it right now, because he understood. His understanding of comedy and timing and the ability to be able to balance that out with uh, really to create something of the moment and being able to cast the right people for the right roles. You don't have that nowadays. Everything is very formulaic. Everything has to be laid out a certain way for a lot of these studios. You have to have all these committees. Back then, in order to work, especially with, Mel Brooks, all you needed to know was just he was ready to just do it. Trust what he was about to do and trust that he was going to be funny,
Yeah, now the thing with Mel Brooks, because we did go into it last night, that Mel Brooks does better when he has writing partners. On his own, he doesn't do very well. He's not as funny on his own. He is better because, like Richard Pryor, what we noticed while watching the film last night, we knew there was the big that Black Bart is Bugs Bunny. If you don't catch that, you've missed the greatest meta joke in the film.
Yeah, it becomes a Warner Brothers cartoon.
Yeah, he is Bugs Bunny, and everything he does is something you would expect Bugs Bunny to do in one of his cartoons. And there is a Western cartoon with a big, ugly mustache dude that's just like Mongo in one of the old Bugs Bunny Western cartoons. So absolutely, all of that came from Richard Pryor. That was all Richard Pryor. Richard Pryor was the one who wrote all of that in there. And so it's fascinating to see that shit. But hey, I've got the Winnie the Pooh thing here. Let me play this. This is the new trailer for Winnie the Pooh. I'm going to stop it every 10 seconds. And hopefully we won't get ganked. John's not smiling now. Like, all right, that joke's getting old, Gary. No,
Go for 7. Go for 7.
Never gets old. Can you guys hear it okay?
I can't hear anything.
Nope.
Christopher, we need to leave now.
Oh, that's Al's house, isn't it?
Really need to find out what's happening there, okay?
I'm liking the way this looks. Oh, I like that house. Look at that.
This place is kind of cool. Did you see how's it cool?
I didn't have to stop there. I just wanted to.
That's a good stopping point.
What'd you guys say?
We need to go. Laura step. There's someone else outside. What was that?
This is more. I agree. This is more Halloween than Halloween.
Yeah, they've gone full slasher flick here.
Why are you doing this, please? I would have never left, I swear. I swear.
Yeah, I'm in. I'm all in on that.
Hey, Gary, post that URL in the private chat, please.
Yeah, sure. Copy. Here we go. Everybody can check the trailer out here. Boom, baby.
Wow.
And that's what you get when things become public domain.
Yep.
I want to watch it.
I'm going to watch it. I'm not going to pay to watch it, but I'm going to watch it.
Just think of what things are going to be like once. Well, Conan is now already, I think, public domain. So Just think, ooh, yes, Conan, the Barbarian.
Why Chuck Dixon's working on Conan again. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just waiting for Captain America.
Well, it's going to be a little bit.
Top Gun Maverick is a worthy watch. I've still not watched The Gray Man either. I
watched it.
Like Chris Evans pisses me off, so I'm really not interested in him anymore. But I like the other guy in the film.
Jake Gyllenhaal.
So, yeah.
Jake Gyllenhaal.
No, not Jake Gyllenhaal.
No, sorry. Brain fart.
That's okay. I don't mind brain farts, but don't brain fart all over the show.
Wow.
Yeah, I said it.
That's a t-shirt.
Yeah, don't brain fart all over my show. Go. Yeah, it was Ryan Gosling.
Ryan Gosling.
Ryan Gosling.
The former young Hercules.
I didn't even have to look it up. I just remembered Ryan Gosling. And
guys, I think we got down.
No, we're not down unless it happened. No, I'm watching the stream now.
Maybe my internet because.
No, we're still live. We're good.
Yep.
I think Buck Rogers is also public domain. Flash Gordon will be public domain soon. Which is cool because I'd love to see somebody make an actual Buck Rogers movie.
You know what I want to see? Duck Dodgers out of the 25th and a half century.
Apparently they're adding Duck Dodgers to that multiverses.
Really?
Well,
it was on the list.
Duck Dodgers was he won the best cartoon of the whole 20th century. Yeah, that's true.
Duck Dodgers was very good.
By the way, yes, Ryan Gosling. It's like you can hear the direction being given to him. More distant.
Hey, ladies
like
seem to
don't belong. Make it look like you don't belong in this situation. There you go. More.
I'm telling you, after that movie, The Notebook came out. Jeez. Whew.
Women love him because of that fucking movie. His best role was playing himself in the movie Drive. Just a violent version of himself. I've always wondered if that guy suffered from some kind of sociopathy until I saw him in interviews, and I'm like, now that's acting. When he does interviews.
Basically, I will say this: Buck Rogers and Flash Gordon are pretty much almost the same basic plot, just different characters. But whereas Flash Gordon takes place, well, let me put it to you this way. The biggest difference between Flash Gordon and Buck Rogers is that Buck Rogers is about the American Revolution, Civil War, and Flash Gordon is about basically World War I.
Why? I got to say something. Why, if I make fun of something or say something, you assume that I don't like Ryan Gosling? I like Ryan Gosling. I fucking opened with that, saying I don't like Chris Evans, but I like the other guy, Ryan Gosling. I like his movies. I like his shit. But he's not a great fucking actor.
And then I brain farted all over the show.
I enjoy him. I enjoy his films. But fucking don't tell me he's a great fucking actor, because he's not. Keanu Reeves is a better actor than Ryan Gosling. And just barely. Keanu doesn't really act either. He's just fucking great.
He's just a cool guy. Is really what it comes down to.
He plays a version of himself in his films, and John Wick is fucking Keanu Reeves beating shit out of everybody, going by the name John Wick. And he really is. I fucking adore Keanu Reeves as a human being.
He's one of the few people that I would definitely say I would want to just hang out with and have a beer with, because he just seems to be so.
Okay, hold on a second.
Cool.
Now, look, man, you're going to say something like that? You better be able to sit down and differentiate every performance he's ever given. You say something like that, you have to differentiate every performance that he's ever done. And you can't. It's the same thing every fucking film. Ryan Gosling is playing a version of Ryan Gosling. He's good at that. He's likable. He's affable. Even when he's a dark character, he's still affable. There's something. He was a fucking murderer. He played the real version of what's his name that's dead now that murdered his wife and got away with it. DuPont, and went and killed more people. You know, he's a fucking serial killer.
I mean, you could say the same thing about The Rock.
The Rock doesn't know how to act. He's just The Rock.
Yeah, it's just every movie.
And you love him. Harrison Ford. The only time he ever tried to act fucking was awful when he was in the movie What Lies Beneath. Because when you get to the turn, the serial killer turn or the murderer turn, you get to that moment where he's no longer the likable husband and you find out he's the killer. That moment, that turn was hilarious because it just seemed like Harrison was just fucking around. Like he's smiling and trying to be evil, but he's funny. It's just not believable. Because Harrison Ford couldn't act his way out of a bag, but he's great on screen, man. Indiana Jones, Han Solo, one of my favorite actors of all time, not because of his acting chops, but because of he plays the average guy better than anybody I've ever seen.
Force 10.
Force 10 from Navarone?
Yeah, Force 10 from Navarone, which is one of my all-time top 3 favorite World War II films.
Now, you want to talk about a good actor in that film. Robert Shaw.
Robert Shaw.
Yeah. And
Edward Fox.
God, what is Edward Fox? Absolutely steals the fucking movie. He says, I don't want to ruin the moment for you. But
I think
we're on the wrong side
of the river.
And
Force 10
we're about to be overrun by 100 very angry Germans. I mean, that line made the fucking movie.
Yeah.
And he's just so fucking troll the way he delivers that.
You just destroyed the bridge. Oh, and you happen to have a black gentleman with you.
Yeah. And and you've got a bunch of, hundreds of angry Germans on this same side of the river with us. They're about to overrun us.
And the camera's pulling back. And just at the very before, just before it goes, just before it fades into the credits, you start seeing German helmets show up. And it's just like, oh, wow, what's going to happen next? I always want to see a sequel to that.
They needed a sequel, but the movie flopped.
Yeah,
for
it
some
flopped.
reason. Great cast, great film. I think it was the marketing. I really do. I think it was marketed incorrectly. That was such a great World War II action comedy.
Oh, geez.
One of my favorites. And
the biggest cliffhanger of all time. I mean, that is a cliffhanger of cliffhangers. And now it's like now you got to make up what happens next because they never did anything beyond that. And it's just like, oh man.
Now look, I'm not telling you he can't be your spirit animal because I think he's a fascinating dude in real life.
Yes.
I loved how he and Harrison Ford were really chummy with one another.
Oh, they didn't think anything of roasting each other.
Oh, they fucked with each other constantly. And my favorite moment that ended up in the film was him actually punching Harrison Ford.
Mm-hmm.
It was purely accidental. He slugged him right in the fucking face, and Ford just went with it. And one of those fun things, Harrison Ford's been doing a lot of his own action. I'm not going to say stunts. What he does is he's an action actor, and he knows how to do his acting skills. And he learned the John Wayne way to throw a punch in film, which is you don't do this kind of punch. You go into punch, which one of the best cuts of one of his doing that is in Raiders of the Lost Ark during the what do they call that when you have the marketplace scene.
Yeah.
And they have a back shot of him turning and duck, and he punches the Arab in the face. Absolute classic John Wayne style of punching, and John Wayne developed that punch for film.
Well, that's because Harrison Ford is he's still a working actor, so he's one of the last actors out there currently working who actually was a part of the studio system.
Yeah.
He came up through the studio system. And so a lot of the tricks and stuff he had to learn anyway to become an actor. But after him is when you started getting actors that were coming up that weren't trained by the studios. Of course, that's when you also started, you know, hearing a lot of stuff with people and other things. But
yeah, one of the executive producers of Dead Heat on a Merry-Go-Round pulled him into his office and said, "You know, you're just not good acting material." Told him this, just not very good. He says, "You know, the first time you saw Tony Curtis, you know, playing a grocery clerk, he's really shown. He really stood out." And he says, "You were just played the part of a bellboy, and you just looked like a bellboy." And he goes, "Funny, that's what I thought I was supposed to be doing." And got fired. And by saying that, but in the end, Harrison Ford was right, and that executive producer, was wrong, because that was that was near the end of the studio system, and Harrison Ford went on to become one of the most bankable stars in Hollywood history. And amazingly, he almost walked away because he had taken up, you know, he had to feed his family, so he took up carpentry and
self-taught.
And one of the biggest contracts he ever had that was going to move him in that direction was when he did what's his name? Great music producer. Oh, he did
trumpeter. Oh, geez. No, not Sergio. It's
it's
Herb Alpert.
Was it Herb Alpert? Okay, he built this recording studio.
Yep.
And he got a lot of money from that, and his career was going to go up. But then his Fred Roos and those guys were like, "No, we're going to make you a star," and they fucking did.
I think the way it worked out for him was he was working on something and ended up doing. He met George Lucas, and then they put him in American Graffiti. And that pretty much was just more of a cameo than anything else. And he played Bob Ralpha. And then
he played Colonel Lucas after George Lucas.
In Apocalypse Now. Because that was their way of trying to pay George Lucas back for basically taking this movie idea that he had been working on for quite a while and going ahead and making the movie without George Lucas. That was the thing about Apocalypse Now.
Yeah, but going back, even when he played Bob Falfa in American Graffiti, and he appeared later as a highway patrolman, same character.
Oh, that's in the sequel.
In the sequel, more American Graffiti, not a very good film. But George Lucas didn't want to use any actors he'd worked with previously on Star Wars, but Fred Roos got him in for reading the scripts with other actors. And inevitably, George had gone through everybody from Christopher Walken, Stallone, and all those fuckers to play Han Solo, including what's his name from
Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell.
Perry King. Kurt Russell, Burt Reynolds, all read for Han Solo.
And finally, when it came down to it, it was the chemistry between him, Carrie Fisher, and Mark Hamill that got him the role. But I'm telling you, it was also Fred Roos. Fred Roos kept doing that. He was in those scenes with them on purpose.
I think Kurt Russell.
What, John?
Oh, I didn't say anything.
Bye, Anima.
Oh, Anima.
Yeah. William Catt was the one that got paired off with Kurt Russell eventually.
And that would have been an interesting pairing right there.
Yeah.
I think it would have been an interesting version of Star Wars with those guys. But we ended up with the team that we got, and I'm glad. And once again, thank you, Fred Roos, for all your hard work getting Harrison in there.
Yep.
And the thing that's always bothered me personally with Harrison Ford, oh my God, I look like George Lucas right now if I grow a whole white beard, is I need a goiter too. That swollen glands under here. He disses the character Han Solo and has hated that character. And secretly, he acts like he loves Indiana Jones, but he also wanted to kill Indiana Jones too. Any character that was becoming an intellectual property character, he didn't want to play. He didn't want to do that. Harrison Ford just doesn't like that stuff. Well, it's tough noogies, man. That's what you signed up for. Be a pro.
Hey, it got you paid and it made you rich.
Exactly. And here's the funny thing is it took somebody stupid like JJ to finally let Harrison Ford get his way and kill Han Solo.
Well, I also think a lot of it had to do with KK. I think a lot of it had.
Well, yeah.
I think a lot of it also had to do with KK because she wasn't going to stand in the way of that.
Yeah, she wanted it gone. She wanted her Star Wars. That's why Star Wars Land became new Star Wars instead of classic Star Wars.
Yeah. Jeez.
And Bob Iger just being an idiot, listening to the wrong people.
Yep.
All right, I'm done. I am
ranting. Ranting.
I'm done with the show. I want to go. I want to go do some other stuff. So I saw on the banner 6x8. Is that what you said?
Yeah, 6x8.
So 8 feet long, but the table's only 6 foot long.
No. It's a hanging banner for in back of us.
Oh, behind us. But again, we're going to need everything at the top half. Really focus on the top half.
Okay. Yeah.
Because if we're going to be in front of it, we'll be blocking most of the banner. So it'll be good. It'll be fun, guys. We're going to broadcast from
St. Charles.
St. Roberts, I thought.
Sorry, St. Roberts. God, why do I keep saying St. Charles? St. Roberts.
I was confused too. I thought it was St. Charles. And I thought it was up by St. Louis, not Fort Leonard Wood.
No, it's right there by Fort Leonard Wood. And where's that video? I need to show that video. Let me go to my...
you mean the one we did for ExtremeCon?
I'm going to play it so everybody can see it. And I played the video that they put out publicly of me eating for 41 seconds. It was funny.
Yes.
Oh, that's
you
interesting.
all come back now. You hear.
Hey, Keith, while he's looking for that, what's the rule for going into public domain?
75 years.
Is it 75?
Yeah, 75.
Okay.
But a lot of the stuff was pushed back because Disney kept screwing with, Mickey Mouse, and a lot of other stuff got pushed with it. So
the problem was the court system shouldn't have let them do that. They should have never let them do it. It was all over Mickey Mouse.
Well, I was just wanting to check and see when some of these classic serials were going to become public domain.
Let's see. So 20. Let's see. It's 2022 now. So Superman has another 12, 13 years.
Oh, fuck you, Keith. I saw the fan you put up on my fucking on there.
What are you saying? And then if Superman has 13 years, 14 years, give or take, then that means Namor, Human Torch, and Batman have about 14, 15, 16 years.
Oh,
and then Captain America will about 16, 17 years. So it's coming. I mean, it'll be here before you know it.
It'll be coming at you hard, as Keith would say. Here we go. Here's the video, our promo for Extremicon that we did. And we pretty much almost improvised this whole thing. Hey guys, welcome to Pop Culture Minefield.
I'm Keith.
I am Gerry. Would you like to touch my monkey? Well, you'll get the chance at Extremicon. But I don't know where Extremicon is and when it's going to be. What? Tell me something, Keith. Save the day.
It's at the J.H. Williamson St. Robert Community Center in St. Robert, Missouri.
St. Robert's? Wait a minute. That's where I went to basic training for the Army. I ain't going. No, I'll be there. But I always swore when I was at Fort Leonard Wood, I would never live in this freaking state because of the storms, the crazy storms. But it's home. It's home to me.
It is home.
So I'm here.
And guess what? It's also the home where you can find all kinds of artists, authors, comic book, cosplay, celebrity guests, games,
look who's
giveaways,
reading,
panels, tutorials, and cosplay content.
That's right. I was reading.
Making it sound like it's worth going to.
Well, we're going to be there.
That's right. We'll be broadcasting from the convention. Once again, this is in St. Roberts, Missouri, Saturday and Sunday, the 17th and 18th. We will be there live. We're going to be doing at least one panel, hopefully two, where we're going to do some breakdowns live with an audience about what's going on with Warner Brothers and what's going on with the rest of entertainment and what you can expect from those changes that are happening and coming. So with that, we'll see you there. And I'm Gerry.
I'm Keith.
And we're out of here. Such a Johnny little beat. You want to see a happy dog bouncing? There we go, guys. That was our promo for the big show coming up at Extremicon. They got great panelists that are going to be there. I'm looking forward to it. And they posted this. Hold on, I better fucking show this one. They got the only picture they had was this one for me. And this is all pre-gray. Funny. Here we go. Share screen. Because I don't know if people are even going to recognize me. Because I'm so gray haired now. But similar glasses, those were the oval rather than round. I had trouble seeing up and down. I had to lift my head or drop my head down more because they were bifocals. But there you go. And they got my actual media packet that talks about all the stuff I've worked on in comic industry, the awards I've won.
Man, you have your own media packet.
Yeah. I had actually, what's really funny is, Richard Bonk is, he's worked for Marvel, DC. I had to build his media packet for him. I designed it for him. I'm like, there you go, buddy. Now you have a media packet that talks about all the work you've done over the years for Marvel and DC and Image and all the other comics. He's worked for all the majors. So, but anyway, let's look in the chat real quick, and then I'm going to do my thank yous. Hey, I'm still cute. Fuck. Jesus Christ, Peter Vickman fan site. Oh my God. Gerry used to look. That was actually a professional photo for the company. I was with ACR Nally Marketing Group. It was an advertising marketing company, and I designed. It's really funny. We were driving through Springfield the other day, Lauren and I started pointing out logos I designed for local places. I designed that logo. I designed that one. I designed a logo for J Mark. I designed a lot of logos. In fact, Ozarks Coca-Cola, their little bottle top thing. I was the guy who designed the original design for that. So, and a lot of people know, like even for IDW, a lot of their logos for some of their comics, I was their workhorse. Tom, Chris, or Ted would need something, and they go, "Hey, Gerry can do this, right? Yeah, have him do this." And I would design logos. I did the logo for the entire Infestation series that went across all the zombie stuff, Star Trek, everything. That logo is mine. Lots of little fun stuff. I hear the knocking behind you. You can actually just kind of hear it in the background, almost like you got ghosts. Ghosts.
Yeah, well, that's okay. They won't get me because I'm black.
Oh, see, now Peter Venkman Fanside's trying to schmooze me a little bit. Now you're handsome now. I look like the fucking comic guy from The Simpsons. Worst host ever. Anyway, I learned to do that. Keith knows how I learned it. It was from fucking Craig Edwards. Because I didn't know how to do the voice. And he says, do this and do this. He told me. And I did it. And I'm like, holy shit, I can do the voice. And he goes, see? And you even look like him. I'm like, fuck you, Craig. He's such a catty gay man. He's so catty.
Oh, wait a minute. This is for Craig. Hey, Craig, how you doing?
Yeah, hands in the camera. He was
hey, Craig, how you doing?
Getting emphatic. And so when we did the promo for season 2 of Pop Culture Minefield under his tutelage, we went part of the slug line for the season was 68% less hands in the camera. Season 2, Pop Culture Minefield. That was a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun. We've had fun doing this show.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful. I'm grateful for our audience. I'm grateful for being friends with some of the people that we're friends with. And once again, like I said earlier, the connective DNA is Mexican Iron Man. You know, he is the connection between us and all these other shows. And we have a direct connection with Midnight's Edge, direct connection with Paulie, direct connection with Doomcock. Although, you know, I've always said, you know, if I were to give my cock a name, it would not be Doom. That would just freak me out and freak women out. Like, is it going to hurt me? Kill me? We love you, Doomcock.
And so ends our very special Bring Your Mom to Our Show episode.
Yeah. Bring your kids to work day. Why the fuck would you bring them to this show?
Good thing my mom doesn't understand English.
Well, that's it. I got to learn Spanish now so I can fucking say this fucked up shit in Spanish.
On behalf of Gerry, let me just say, Pop Culture Minefield. We are a repeat offender. Yes, I repeat, we will offend again.
Pop Culture Minefield. Monkeypox for nerds.
Oh, jeez.
I don't think about it here, but I was trying to watch your show over at my sister's house when I was watching my niece, and all the F-bombs started coming out, and I'm like, okay, I'll watch this another time.
Hey, Bill, just so you know, Craig Zwiner was my boss, and he passed away. It was tragic how he died. Despite being my boss, we were friends for 25 years before he died. And one of his favorite things to do is if we were ever having a party with mixed crowd, he always wanted me to tell the story of getting bit by a cat on the end of my dick. Because he knew, especially when we did it at a Christmas party, and there were Presbyterians on one table, and I can't remember the other one, Pentecostals at the other table. And it's a known fact that the more deeply Bible Belt religious you are, the more you're gonna fucking hate me. So I told that story, and I'm pretty certain I said profoundly the word cock at least 24 times in the telling of that story. I would say it even when I didn't have to, just because I knew it was really fucking irritating the people at the other tables. And they couldn't do anything because it was our party. If they didn't like it, they had to leave. So nobody said anything. I really am a dick. I really am. I know my crowd, and I know when to be fucking gnarly and to say the most fucked up things I can say in front of other people. What was that? You got some. I'm not going to go into that story today because I'm done. I'm done talking. Bill, if you want that story, if you want to know the whole fucked up story, I was in the Army, and you ask about it tomorrow. Because we are going to be doing a show tomorrow, and we're supposed to have, what are we doing, Keith? I forgot. We're doing something special on Thursday. What was it? A review of something?
Bring your favorite black guy to work day?
That's every day.
Oh, okay.
Almost every day. Because you're my favorite black guy.
Does that mean I can bring The Rock?
Sure.
I'm going to wear you like a Gucci purse. What? I got that in my head because the scene when Cleavon Little's on that horse and he's got fucking Gucci saddlebags, I about fucking lost it. I'm like, that is so fucking funny. And then Tom said something hilarious about it, and I fucking cracked up even more. Hey guys, go back, check out Toxic Tuesday last night, Blazing Saddles. It was a great episode, really one of my favorites. I love hanging out with those guys. They are really, God, it's like my second home, hanging out on Toxic Tuesday. And I really need to get you on there. I'm going to talk to Nick about getting you on there, especially when we're going to do that stuff because
got to have a black guy.
You know what they really do. We need to check all our boxes. We need to be woke. But I've always been, and Tom pointed it out, that I do woke correctly because I am very diverse in how I try to do things. Even in my writing, when you look at it, I have a very diverse kind of characters, and but I do it in a way that doesn't look stupid or sound stupid.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the problem with today's woke people is they try to beat everything. They try to hit you over the head with everything rather than just allowing it to take place.
Look and see, I'm so nice. Look, I said, look and see how so nice I am. Look.
Yeah. And I have a character named after one of my doctors that's going to be in my book, Earth Wars, that Richard Bonk is drawing that I wrote the script for. And his artwork's amazing on it. And it's got a few of my actor friends in it and celebrity friends in it. But I think I'm going to change that and tell them that we're going to take their faces out. Because we got Zach Ward in there, Scott Levy. It's got the guys from Black Rifle Coffee in there. Matt Best is in the book. And the reason why is it's nothing personal. I like those guys. But when I thought about it, it's like I'm kind of tired of putting celebrities in my books because they appear in a lot of my books. You'll see somebody famous in it, and they gave me approval, thumbs up to use their face, including the maintenance man, janitor for Battlestar Galactica. He hated it when I would say that to him too. I had lunch with him. I said, "Yeah, man, when you played the janitor on Battlestar Galactica, it's like one of my favorite characters." He's like, "I was a mechanic." Like,
the chief mechanic.
Seriously, I thought you were just a janitor on the show, cleaning up the ship. And I have pictures of him holding my stuff, like he bought my book. You know, I can't help it, man. I'm dickish. With my humor, and like I will find something to rub some. Look what I did to Phil Morris, man. I fucking pranked him the first day I met him, and
that was funny.
He was losing his fucking mind.
That was classic.
What is you have said every film that black actors were in, but I'm not in any of those.
I liked you in Virtuosity.
Yeah, that was Denzel Washington. He was like, the more he would lean forward, the more he was getting flabbergasted. I could tell.
I liked you. I liked you in the heat of the night.
Heat of the night, man. That was Sidney Poitier.
I liked you in. Like you in Glory.
Glory. That was Denzel and Morgan Freeman. What the fuck? And So he's leaning all the way over the table at one point. His hands underneath him, flat on the table. And he's leaning on his hands, just kind of like shaking his head. And he's had this look of like, what in the fuck is going on here? These people can't be this crazy stupid. And finally, they started cackling because they're ladies. They were cackling. I could hear them. I couldn't hear him, but I could hear them. And they turned and pointed at me, and he looked down at me at my table, and I'm like, and we became friends. People, you know, a lot of people like being fucked with. Some people don't. I've run into that. I don't care. I'm like, okay, that's somebody I won't be friends with. That's all right. I like being friends with people who have a good sense of humor. You know how I just had a short and knocked my mic out. You know how you were talking about Blazing Saddles? Isn't Django Unchained kind of weirdly similar? It was my problem with that film was it didn't know what kind of film it was trying to be. That was my problem with Django. I think everybody was really good in the film, but at the point it's like an action comedy western with very little comedy, just him saying funny shit, Jamie Foxx, and then it became Blazing Saddles in the KKK scene. And I'm like, look, man, you either play it straight or you play it as comedy. But if it's going to be comedy, the entire film has to have that same tone. The film was tonally inconsistent, and I didn't like that. And that was my problem with the movie. But I enjoyed the performances in it. I mean, my God, what's that little guy's name that played Howard Hughes? What was that? Italian kid.
Oh,
DiCaprio.
Yeah.
He was good in that film. I fucking hated him. That's how good he was. Really fucking wanted him to die. And not Morgan Freeman, I'm sorry, Sam Jackson, he was a villain. But the only thing I didn't like about that is the same thing I told you about growing up in the black community in Fredericksburg, is that there was this internal racism in the black community of who grew up in, from house inwards, as they called it. And I was really floored by that the first time I heard it. I'm like, what the fuck is that?
House, porch. Yeah.
And it was coming from other members of the black community. And they were just this and I'm like, you're all treated like property. Your families were. So I think that's really what we should take away, not who had it better as a slave.
I mean, there's always something to learn, you know. I mean,
yeah, and that really
now you know.
floored me the first time I heard it. That one in High Yellow, and I'm like, I heard somebody call my buddy Chester Pratt, who's still a friend of mine. He's on my Facebook page. I should introduce you. You would probably hate him too. I love him and I hate him. That motherfucker fucked with me so much when we were kids, and I could never catch him. As fast as I was, that fucker could turn a corner, like, boom, and I'd lose him because I was like a juggernaut. I'm like, when I catch you one day, I'm gonna kill you. I never killed him. He's still alive, but he's the one who almost got me shot by that one neighbor. Jokingly told him that my dad and I were in the Klan. And he would sit up in his window when I deliver my papers, fucking sighting me through the curtains. I found out about that. It scared the shit out of me that he was aiming and considering shooting me.
Well, that's what happens when you joke about having a Klan-do attitude.
Yeah, Klan-do. Oh, you I have a Klan-do attitude. So did Robert Byrd.
I'm sorry, John. I had to do it. John.
It was low-hanging fruit. You didn't have to.
It was.
No,
I did.
He grabbed that dingleberry and went with it. I'm telling you. All right. Dr. Dragon, Monkey Jeebus, D. Bud Martin, War Monkey, Anima Confusa, Scott Lewis. He couldn't be on the show today because of work. Penny, Cameron Vale, Real Wade Nation, the Jack of All Casuals, Kingsport Cow. Six was here. And by the way, Six, if you're still here, You know I'm kidding when I say fuck you guys, because I love you. I love you. But you guys did get me with that fucking video. Have you seen the video yet, Keith?
No.
I had to do a test to figure out how to update the chat so we can block porn bots.
Oh.
But the only way to do it is you have to go live. But it showed me, I did a walkthrough video of how to do it. So I followed the instructions, selected private, but apparently something, I guess I was supposed to hit it didn't tell me to. I needed to hit save or something. And instead I went live for 41 seconds and I hadn't eaten lunch yet. And I was chowing down on a bag of chips. And I'm telling you, I wasn't like eating, like you see the photo of me where I'm eating those Pringles. I was grabbing them by the handful and shoving them in my mouth.
Yeah.
Just devouring those chips. I was starving. I was so fucking hungry. And it ended up going live. And you know that Six and Kyle, you know, Zach's, are going to fucking do things to fuck with me. Because that's how they have fun, you know. And
forget your hand, dude. I got a shovel right here.
So I did turn it private.
Okay.
Tom was like, he saw it. Tom saw it, laughed his ass off at it, you know, from Midnight's Edge. So that shit was funny. He says, why would you make that private? He said to me last night, make it public. No, make it public, dude. That is great. That was so fucking funny. You just unaware that people are watching you eat is fucking funny. So I went, okay. So what I did is I compromised. I put it on unlisted. So if you follow the link, you can watch the video. But I don't want it in our list of videos. Someone told me in the chat, oh, but you want? And I'm like, no, I do not want that to be the thing that brings people in.
That actually happened to Gerry from Nerderotic about 2 years ago, because he had accidentally done something where he thought he wasn't on the air and he was eating ice cream. And that became a joke for quite a while with him. So
yeah. Gerry, yeah, because you know we crossed paths the other night. He was leaving as I was coming on. I said, "That's okay. We're losing a Gerry and gaining another Gerry, the other white meat," which he thought was funny.
Oh man!
So, Gerry didn't want to be a public meme. No, I don't mind it if it is, but I don't want it to be on our catalog. You got to understand, I want our stuff to be very specific on our shows. No matter how we derail, I don't really give a shit. But our shows are very specific, you know, and I go for the specific thing. I'm not going to just post a video of me eating chips and think, I'm going to get audience from that. I want subs from that. First of all, the people that would sub to us from that, I'm not sure I really want watching us, you know.
Well,
I
this side of
like
OnlyFans.
I like these guys, you know, people like this, you know, that interact and say fucked up things to me back that after I say something fucked up to them.
Well, we could have a bloopers.
Nobody asked you, Martin. Shut up. No, go ahead, Martin. I'm sorry. I did that because you were so fucking quiet all show, and you finally say something, and I have to be mean to you about it. So say something, buddy.
No.
All right, fuck you then.
No, I mean, we could make a bloopers playlist.
Oh, yeah, because when we're doing Scoop Zone, I would sometimes put the bloopers where I would say something fucked up and crack 24/7 Sil and Keith up. And Arwen, too, when she showed up. That was one of my running jokes. It's like, yeah, we've got 18 episodes, and she was in 4. I'm mean to everybody I like. It's a thing. It's a thing. It really is. I would think, let's see, Scribe Light, La Adelita, Bill Barkley, good day, old mate. It's good to see you, mate. Orville Nation, Mr. Tickle Trunk. That's Mr. Tickle Trunk, like Mr. Tibbs. Dragon Bricks. That's an interesting name when you think about it. It's like, what the fuck are Dragon Bricks? Like Dragon Turds? Is that what? I don't know. Polly from Latino Slant. Darius Munchausen, the single safest version of Munchausen that you can have. I'm not saying it is safe or he's safe. I'm just saying it's safer than any other version. The Tomb of Dracula. Our Muslim uncle was here. Assalamu alaikum. That's my Pauly Shore impression. Marshall. Iowalks? Okay, Iowalks. Do I know that person? I don't recognize that name.
First time, I think.
Oh, welcome to the show, Iowalks. Welcome to the show. Kylock. Hope you're doing okay, buddy. And, of course, the Peter Vickman fan site, who thinks that I was cute back in the 2000s and handsome now. Yeah. I would say she was hitting on me. Yeah. Oh, you're a wee Scotsman, eh?
Peter Vinkman fan site. I'm awake now.
I'm awake now. Ow, thanks, Marshall. Or aw. You say ow or aw. Aw, thanks, Marshall. Yeah, there was a Mike Nesmith video called from one of his Television Parts episodes. And do you remember that show, Television Parts? It didn't last long, and it should have. Gerry,
it was an outgrowth of Elephant Parts.
Yes. Elephant Parts was a movie, and then he did the TV show. And I wish, I think it was on MTV, wasn't it? I wish that show had caught on, because he had a great cast, great comedy. It was very, it was anthology comedy. And my favorite was where this guy's on campus and goes into the school library, and there's like a photo booth looking thing. And he goes in it, and there's a screen and a bunch of selectors, and you select the foreign language you want to learn on video. And so he picks Irish 101. They need to do one with Scottish, because you can't fucking understand it when the thicker they are, their accent. Because I ran into that in Scotland when I was at Inverness train station with those vaulted ceilings. I walked in there, I'm just a kid, and I'm standing there, and there's this giant moon-faced fucking scale. And I step up on it, and I'm looking for where you put the coin, looking for a slot. And I'm like, where do you put the money in? I'm like trying to figure out how it works, And my dad had gone in there to pee. I didn't have to, but I was like fascinated by the urinal. And I'm like, oh my God, I thought that was a sink. It was this round trough, flowing water in it. And you peed in it, metal trough. And I'm like, oh my God, this is a crazy bathroom, And I'm standing up on that moon-faced scale. And it's so loud, you could hear every sound in there. The water running, the peeing, the farts, everything echoed. It was a vaulted 20, 30-foot ceiling, all stone. There was metal. What wasn't stone was metal. No plastic in this fucking thing. And I'm standing on top of a metal scale with a big glass dome on it. And I'm trying to figure out, well, how does this fucking thing work? And this man walks up to me with a corduroy jacket, with a vestment. He was wearing what's called a waistcoat. He had a kilt on. He had the sporran, and he had a tam o' shanter on. This guy was old, like in his 70s old. Fucking big old fat ass sideburns, gray, white. And he looks at me, and I turned as he starts to speak, and he goes, and I'm like, I'm standing there, and I'm like, oh, I'm dressed nicely. I'm wearing a sports coat with a tie and with slacks, and I'm pale. So clearly he thinks I'm fellow Scottish. He thinks I'm Scottish because I'm so white. I have to be Scottish, and that's what I'm thinking. And he's speaking to me in Scottish Gaelic. And I'm like, oh, shit. I'm sorry, man. I'm so sorry. So I said to him, oh, I'm sorry, sir. I only speak English. Now, I want to point out that for some reason, at the moment this happens, it got deathly quiet in this bathroom. And he leaned into me and he says, that was English, laddie. And the entire bathroom erupted in echoing, chaotic cacophony sound of laughter of every human being behind the stall cracking up laughing. I turned because I was white, beat fucking red. And he stood up, and I slowly backed away from him like this. And I went around the stone tiled partition that blocked to the main door, ran out that door, ran around the newsstand outside the bathroom, and hid there until my father came out. And I shit you not, because I have so many fucked up stories of things happening to me in bathrooms. My dad walks out, wadding up some paper he just dried his hands with, walks over to me and he goes, "What the hell is it with you in bathrooms?" And there you go. One of the many fucked up bathroom stories. I was terrified when that guy said that to me. Terrified. It's a wee show, yeah. Oh my God, why did no one tell me that? What? Wait, Gerry is white? Yeah, I'm quite. I'm caucasoidal. I'm a caucasoidal maniac.
Oh my God.
First time I heard that in Shaun of the Dead, I just fucking died laughing. You're a cunt. You're a caucasoidal maniac. Fucking Nick Frost. Nick Frost fucking slays me. So, yeah, dude, I've got so many fucked up bathroom stories. But anyway, save that for another day. I'll save the cat story for Thursday, but Bill has to ask me to tell the story. Wrap it up, Anima. I know. Fuck you. Fuck you, Anima. You're lucky I have feelings for you. For her, she gets this. Where's it at? There.
This town needs an enema.
There you go. That's for you, Anima. Anyway, Keith, any last things you want to say before we go?
Not really. Just thanks for doing the show today and giving me some place to run to in the middle of all of this.
Martin, I'm not going to catch up.
No.
Okay.
No.
I know everybody's nervous. I'm going to cut them off.
Dude.
I'm not going to cut you off today.
No, I'm not nervous. I'm just sleepy and hungry.
Yes, ditto. I really want to get something to eat. I've not eaten anything today. I just had my coffee. And John, not going to cut you off. You got anything?
Remember to spay and neuter your pets.
What? Okay, without a thick Missouri accent, say that again.
Remember to spay and neuter your pets. I was
Oh,
to do
yeah.
the Bob Barker thing.
Is Bob Barker still alive?
Yeah, last I checked.
Don't get mad at me. I let you finish your statement. You just fell for the
Y'all come